of CBC Sports.
Hurry, hurry, step right up and come feast your eyes on daring, death-defying feats from the four corners of the CFL. Watch as this Ticat ringmaster performs his delicate balancing act in a season difficult to swallow. Look up, that's Anthony Calvillo walking a tightrope with no safety net. The human cannonball, Joe Montfort, isn't clowning around. He'll jump through hoops to get to the passer. Calgary's at full stride in a season full of ups and downs. Terry Vaughn is a juggling act to behold. He's got eyes in the back of his head. Come see Jeff Garcia's passes fly through the air with the greatest of ease. But will he be so bold as to tempt the jaws of the Ticat defense? Have no fear, Bronzell Miller will be here to tame a few tigers. The performers are ready. Enjoy the show. It's Hall of Fame weekend in Hamilton, home of the Tiger Cats and to the hall that guards Canadian football history. Today, the Ticats meet the Calgary Stampeders in the traditional Hall of Fame game at Ivor Wynne Stadium, and football doesn't come much tougher than a game at Ivor Wynne. Good afternoon and welcome to the CFL on CBC. I'm Mark Lee. Well, there's no disguising it. This has been a rough season for the Ticats. They're still looking for their first win here at home, but through it all, the team hasn't quit. And neither have the Ticat fans. They keep streaming through the turnstiles week after week. Well, the Hall of Famers are here signing autographs on a glorious day for football. Here's Rocky DiPietro, the former Ticat. Rocky, wouldn't it be sweet to have a win to mark your induction this weekend?
Well, that would make it a perfect weekend for me. It's a beautiful day, and that would cap everything for the Ticat fans.
Good to see you, Rocky. There's Bruce Coulter. Al Wilson working on a hot dog. Billy Simons. Junior RU. Hey, Junior, wouldn't it be sweet to celebrate your induction today with your old pal Wally Buono getting his 100th win as a coach?
This would be the icing on the cake for me.
All right. Junior RU and the Hall of Famers will salute them at halftime here at Ivor Wynne Stadium. Those are the circumstances, the backdrop to a big game between the Cats and the Stampeders. For more on that, let's go up to the booth where it's standing room only.
Mark, it's the first day of fall, and Chris Walby, the Ticats hope to turn a new leaf on this season, going back to Anthony Calvillo at quarterback.
Well, talking to the players before the game, they're excited. They weren't getting the job done with Ricky Foggy. They're looking for AC to come and lead this team out of the depths. He's thrown 12 touchdowns, thrown 10 interceptions. He is the leader. He's thrown for over 500 yards twice last year. Look for AC to throw the ball a lot today.
Dave Archer, a big problem for Calvillo in the Hamilton quarterbacking situation, the lack of stability at this position.
Really is, Chris. 3 of the top 4 receivers are out. So this group right here is going to have to step up. They have not played together 2 weeks in a row. Prince Wimbley's the guy I look for today. They played together, he and Anthony Calvillo in Las Vegas.
And they're going against a tough secondary that's improving by the week. An all-Canadian on one corner, Marvin Coleman, and a Rookie of the Year candidate in William Hampton on the other corner. So how about the keys to the football game?
For Hamilton, their offensive line has to have great play. They got to open some holes for Archie Emerson. Give Calvillo time to get a rhythm. And the linebackers, Katie William and such, have to have a great game to stop the run of Anderson from Calgary and get in the faces of the inside receivers of Calgary.
Well, for Calgary, the offense, they get everybody involved. They do a great job. Garcia's done that all year long. He needs to continue to do that today. And defensively, they must smother the Cats. This is a team that's struggling. Don't allow a team that's starting to die to breathe. If they do, they'll bite you, just like it happened in Winnipeg a couple of nights ago.
Stampeders really have turned their season around. They've won 5 of their last 7 games. Well, the Tiger Cats are in the midst of a 7-game losing streak. They'll try to snap it here on Hall of Fame weekend at Ivor Wynne. Now back to Mark Lee.
Chris, coming up at halftime, will take you through a busy day in the life of Tiger Cat trainer Chris Puskas. We'll also celebrate this year's inductees into the Canadian Football Hall of Fame. There's Billy Simons, one of 5 men getting the honors last night here in Hamilton. Well, the weather, in a word, perfect. A hint of autumn in the air, mix in some nostalgia and some modern-day football, and you've got all the right mix here in Hamilton. We're ready for the opening kickoff at Ivor Wynne Stadium. The players are lined up. Let's go up to the booth. And here's Chris Cuthbert.
There's Wally Buono looking for win number 100 this afternoon. 99 wins in the 90s as the head coach of the Calgary Stampeders. On the other side, the man he faced in the 92 Grey Cup game, Urban Bowman, then with Winnipeg, and now still looking for that elusive first victory as the interim head coach of the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Cats just looking for something positive in the final 6 games of the regular season, while the Calgary Stampeders with a chance to move into a tie with BC for second in the West and within 2 points of the division lead, with the Edmonton Eskimos beaten in a thriller last night against the Toronto Argonauts. Paul Osbaldiston has the football on the tee. There's a brief pause here.
And in talking with Erman Bowman yesterday, Erman always keeps a bright outlook on what's going on with his team. His team's struggled. He's had some problems at quarterback. He's had injury problems. He's just been plagued with injuries, but he continues to have a great attitude, and a lot of the players on this team have kept the same attitude. They'll play hard again today for him.
And one of the things he said, Dave, was the fact that this team, Hamilton, has forgotten how to win. They have not tasted victory in a long time. It only takes a team like this, that's in the corner, backed into the corner, to taste a little bit of a lead and watch out for big things to happen.
He said, we have gotten out of the habit. Hopefully we have not gotten out of the notion of winning football games. The Blue Bombers' victory on Friday night may be a source of inspiration for the Cats. Paul Osbaldiston has kicked it off. Here's Marvin Coleman from his 15-yard line. And Coleman, who has enjoyed a great return year for the Stampeders, up across the 35-yard line. Well, this was a slow-starting team, but their quarterback, like the team, has gotten red hot of late. Jeff Garcia, third in most CFL categories, and last week was 20 of 30 for 270 yards and 3 touchdowns against the Saskatchewan Roughriders. So Garcia, who is anxious to call more of his own plays, operates out of the shotgun. First play from scrimmage for the Stampeders. And Garcia looking deep, looking for Alan Pitts, who is closely covered, and an incompletion to start the game. Frank West was in coverage against Alan Pitts.
Well, this Calgary offense has got a good, solid group up front, Chris. Chris Burns steps in, and he's played well. He's a guy that I played with in Ottawa. He was a draft pick in the Ottawa dispersal draft. And then Vince Danielson, actually, we feature 2 roommates of Jeff Garcia. Chris Burns and Vince Danielson both live with Garcia. I guess they talked to us before the game to get their names on, huh?
Second and 10. And Pitts out wide to the right-hand side. Garcia steps up, and he is tripped up just over the 35. So a short gain for Garcia. This Hamilton Tiger Cat defense starts strong, and we've talked about them in recent weeks.
And a good job by Mike Philbrick there. Really, they're only rushing 3 guys on this play. They're dropping 9, trying to take away some of the receiving routes. Philbrick stays here, beats the center, keeps working against Crysdale. Does a nice job. You see him in the middle here. He's working against Jamie Crysdale. He's doing a little bit of a read right off the bat. Takes him on his shoulder. The defensive backs do a great job, and he comes up and makes the play.
Tony Martino into the game, and Sam Rogers, who has just returned to the Hamilton Tiger Cats, is back deep. He replaces Kenny Wilhite as the punt returner. Wilhite going down last week with a season-ending knee injury. And some confusion here, and a time count violation against the Stampeders.
Well, one of the things you have on this, any kind of a punt team, is you got to make sure.
Still third down.
You got to make sure you have the right guy when you're blocking. If there's a mix-up, it results in a punt being blocked, and most of the time a touchdown scored against you. So they want to make sure they have the right numbers. Obviously in that call they had a little confusion. 2 guys calling out the same number.
Jake Ireland, the referee. Last week the Stampeders had a field goal block. Roger Reinson, the long snapper, gets it back to Martino. Rogers from his 33. And Sam Rogers up to the 40-yard line. Roger Reinson was amongst the tacklers after the 46-yard punt by Tony Martino. So Anthony Calvillo will come back at start at quarterback for the Hamilton Tiger Cats after sitting down for 2 games. That's the longest stretch on the bench he has had in his CFL career.
And he's had a great, he hasn't played much. He's got 133 yards, completions, 238 attempts. But I made the big stat, 12 touchdowns, only 10 interceptions.
First down, 5 receivers are out. And he looks wide to Ashonde Smith, And the pass over his head with William Hampton in coverage.
And the offensive line from Hamilton is good. They got a rookie, Tim Princeton from UND, first year playing. Joe Burgess, second game playing. But they're led by Blaine Schmidt. Hasn't missed a game in all season. For Hamilton, the receivers, obviously, David Archer hit earlier. Prince Wimbley has played with him before in Las Vegas. He's the go-to guy for Garcia.
2nd and 10, Tiger Cats. And Calvillo over the middle, and he guns that one high, looking for Prince Wimbley. And quickly 2 and out for the Cats.
A little bit of nerves, Chris, to start the ball game off. This is the first chance Calvillo's had a chance to play in 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. Prince Wimbley's the guy that we felt like he would want to try to get the ball to. They're familiar with one another, played together in Las Vegas in this league when Vegas was part of it. But you can see 2 high throws is an indication of a quarterback being a little nervous, pulling the string a little bit, needs to pull the ball down into his receivers. Had 2 guys open, just didn't get him the football.
There's Paul Osbaldiston, 3rd in punting yards this year. Marvin Coleman is the deep man, and he leads the Stampeders in all-purpose yards because of his fine work as a return man. From his 21, and he's surrounded by Cats, and down at the 25. A 48-yard punt by Osbaldiston. We're just underway at Ivor Wynn. Gorgeous afternoon for football here at Ivor Wynn in Hamilton. There's Rocco Romano, and if the Stamps look a little sluggish out of the gate today, Rocco took 7 of his teammates over to Mum's for dinner here in Hamilton last night. I know Tony Martino said that he didn't have any room left for any food today.
Some good Italian home cooking.
Nice to be home in Hamilton for Rocco, an all-Canadian tackle on the Calgary offensive line. Stampeders start out, and here is Kelvin Anderson up to the 28-yard line. A.D. Williams involved in the tackle.
This Hamilton defense is a group that's played strong all year long, really in the top 3 in every category. And Joe Monfort is a 100% guy. That means he goes 90 miles an hour all the time. This is a great set of linebackers, 3 of the top 6 tacklers in the league. And Gerald Vaughn has had a solid season in a secondary that leads the league in interceptions.
Vaughn, a former Stampeder, 3 years with Calgary. And here's Garcia on 2nd down. That pass tipped and almost intercepted. It was Lamar McGriggs who got his mid up, and Garcia has to head to the sidelines for the 2nd time without a first down.
Really no surprise the way this defense is playing. They've played this way all year long. They're looking for somebody to do something on the other side of the ball for them offensively. And you see Lamar McGriggs just slide in the hole and spy Garcia and then elevate and knock the football down. Monfort almost comes up with the interception. But that's how active these linebackers are.
And Urban Bowman thought that today we might see the linebackers McGriggs and Williams have more of an impact now that they've been here a couple of weeks. There's Rogers awaiting the Martino punt on 3rd down. Rogers moving up to get this one on the run at the 42 and up to the 50. So the Ticats with good field position for their 2nd possession as we join Mark Lee.
Chris, an exciting finish out west last night in Edmonton.
He takes the punt back all the way in.
Takes this punt from Mike Vanderjagt and returns it 72 yards untouched for the touchdown. His 25th career punt return for a TD, his 49th major of the season. But the Argos saved their best for last. Flutie, who took a licking in this game, looks deep and finds Daryl Mitchell eluding a couple of tackles from Kavis Reed and Derek Beatty. 71 yards for the winning touchdown, 25-24 Toronto.
What a football game that was. And here's Calvillo up to midfield. Pickup of 5 as he couldn't find a receiver open. Marvin Pope made sure Calvillo didn't go any further.
And they're led by big Marvin. Daddy Pope right there is down. He's going to get up. They lost their sack leader, Dwayne Patterson. He left the team. They got a new guy on the outside now. This team, this defensive line and the linebackers, Alondra Johnson, he's the key to quarterback of this defense, is ranked high in all the categories of defensive categories. Their defensive backs, Willie Hampton, the Rookie of the Year candidate, 4 interceptions going into the game.
2nd down and 5. And Calvillo finds Mike Moriali, and the Hamilton native Moriali has a first down at the Calgary 49. And William Hampton made the tackle. He was a former teammate, or his dad was a former teammate of yours briefly, wasn't he?
Back in Montreal. Yes,
4-year-old
And he was a heck of a linebacker for Montreal at that time, too.
Good job of Moriali right at the end. He was short of the first down, got north and south to get his quarterback another set of downs.
So the Ticats with a first down, and the give to Archie Amerson, who kicks it outside. Darrell Hall with that great range is able to trip Amerson as he was trying to turn the corner.
It's a great job by Darrell Hall stringing it out. First off the defensive line on that side. You got Jermaine Miles out there. First game, rookie. He's got to string it out, doesn't want to get hooked, makes him go to the outside. He wants to run it inside. Nice job by Darrell Hall taking the outside right here. See, he wants to go inside, has to take it to the outside. Darrell Hall does a great job of stringing it, shoestring tackle.
We talked to Anthony Calvillo a couple of weeks ago, and he thought Amerson was still adjusting to the wider field surface in his rookie season. No gain on that for maybe a half yard. Flag down, and Calvillo in trouble, steps up, and Anthony Calvillo will run for the first down. Ending the penalty, Marvin Coleman knocked him out of bounds, and that will get a reaction at the Hamilton bench, but I don't think there was any question Calvillo was still in play.
We've seen a lot of late hits throughout the season on quarterbacks. We saw the one in Damon Allen 2 nights ago that was extremely late. But this is a hit. Marvin Coleman comes up and makes a hit on the quarterback. He is well inbounds, well inside the stripe, and I don't think there's any problem with the hit that Marvin Coleman made. He has to make sure he's the last line of defense, or he has to make sure he redirects the quarterback out of bounds.
Absolutely.
Procedure, Hamilton, no end, return second down.
One of the things about a quarterback is you have to make sure that he is running out of bounds. You have a lot of times where a quarterback will fake like he's going out, they'll let up, and then he'll go run around him. Good hit. Just making sure, and one thing I like about that is it's firing everybody up. Hamilton's bench needs to keep life. That's one way to get him up.
I'll tell you, the biggest hit on that play might have been by Urban Bowman as he hit his own quarterback as he went out of bounds.
Well, coaches are starting to fight now.
I'll tell you, nobody's going to tangle Urban. He didn't move an inch. So Calvillo has to call a play with 2nd and 15 after the penalty. Unloads downfield and has an open receiver and a first down as he finds Andrew Grigg with his first start at a wideout position for the Tiger Cats. Grigg comes up with a big catch.
Well, Andrew's just clearing on the route. He sees that his quarterback's in trouble scrambling. You see him at the top of the screen. Now he's going to come back and help his quarterback out. And this is just Anthony Calvillo making an athletic play because there was great coverage downfield by the Calgary defense.
Andrew Grigg is from Sault Ste. Marie, and he told me before the game it was almost incumbent upon him to play well today with Rocky DiPietro going into the Hall of Fame last night. First down, Cats. Down at the Calgary 25. They give it to Amerson, and that is really bottled up behind the line of scrimmage. And he's dropped back at the 26.
Well, the newcomer, Jourdain, is the lead blocker first game, playing the fullback position right now. He tries to lead him through, tries to lead Amerson through the hole right here. Just gets stuffed by McClanahan. You've got to get in his face. You've got to turn him one way or the other. When you're in a hole, you got to turn your defender. You can't just stalemate there because it plugs the hole.
Yonel Jourdain, a former member of the Buffalo Bills, 17 games with the Bills, 94 and 95. He is lined up at a fullback here. He will play as a running back throughout the day as well. So it's 2nd and call it 11. Calvillo has time over the middle, and that one is knocked down, intended for Prince Wembley. And Al Jordan with the defensive play.
Well, John Kalen came up, bluffed blitz, and then Darrell Hall came, and Kalen fell off and covered Here's man in coverage, which allowed Al Jordan to roll back to the middle of the field, and Calvillo did not read it. He did not see Al Jordan roll back to the middle of the field, and you'll see right here, there's Al Jordan rolling back to the middle, and he was an all-Canadian last year at corner, has moved inside to play halfback. And Wally Buono feels like this may be the best cover secondary he may has ever had here at Calgary.
33-yard attempt for Paul Osbaldiston, and he misses it to the left. So Oz continues to struggle, now 13 of 24 on the season in the place kicking department. So that's been a problem for the Cats. Takes a little start short of a promising early drive for Hamilton. Paul Osbaldiston's had a lot of good years here in Hamilton. This has not been one of them as he confers with Urban Bowman after the missed 33-yard attempt. And Hamilton has only a 1-point lead because of the miss.
And that's one of the things that kills you as a team. You do get in a pretty good drive there. You got to come away with some points. They had a chance to come away with 3 anyway, and they didn't, and they've got to start taking advantage of situations.
Jeff Garcia trying to get something going now. First down, Calgary. Here's Kelvin Anderson up to the 40-yard line. And a pickup of 5. Wally Buono said yesterday he thought his team could run straight ahead against just about any defense in this league.
Well, they got some big boys in there. I mean, they got Fred Childress, who I had the opportunity to play with in Winnipeg, and they list him at 330, and I guarantee you that's a grade 6 weight, if anything. He's a big boy, and when he talks before the game, he says, make sure you ISO on me, big man. ISO on me.
Now, would he be as heavy as you? 2nd and 5. Here's Terry Bond, and unable to make a circus-like catch, as we saw a few times last week. And the Stampeders are stuck in the blocks here.
Well, they got a good play on first down. They want to keep the plays medium situation. This is a good defense, but Garcia has to be accurate with this throw. His receiver's coming right at him. That throw has to be on the numbers to allow Vaughn to catch the ball and then get in behind the wall of the linemen that are coming out to block for him. Just off target with the throw. It's too tough a catch for Vaughn to have to make, get back on the ground and get upfield.
And I wonder how much Calgary is relaxed going into this game, knowing that Hamilton's only 1-11. Are they taking this game for granted? Are they a little bit too relaxed in the opening here?
Tony Martino, short punt, which kicks out of bounds at the 41 of Hamilton. So again, the Tiger Cats have good field position. Wally Buono didn't want to hear about the fact his team might be taking Hamilton lightly. It's a big game for them. And Wally Buono, what a coaching record he's provided in the 90s.
Well, in talking with Wally yesterday, you can see his eyes light up when he sees where his team is positioned, especially with the 2 losses, the 2 Western teams this weekend. He feels like his team is just laying in the weeds, waiting to spring on someone.
Just a 29-yard punt by Martino, so Hamilton starts at their own 41. And here's Calvillo, play action. And he goes out in the flat to Prince Wembley. And Wembley gets outside and runs over the tackler to get a couple of extra yards and pump up his Ticats on the sidelines. John Caleb made the tackle.
Nice play by Calvillo, a little play action back to the wide side of the field, rolls to his left, hits him, and he gets a nice block by Andrew Drigg at the end of the play, which I really like, because I think the receivers, if you're not going to catch the ball, become active in the game, help the other receivers, help something downfield.
Dave, you mentioned how many of the receivers are out of the lineup, and it really speaks volumes about Hamilton's passing game that their leading receiver is still Earl Winfield. Calvillo in trouble, and Darrell Hall is the first man to get to the Cat quarterback back on Hamilton's side of midfield.
Just bring Darrell Hall on a blitz from the safety or Sam position. He just beats Big Joe Burgos to the outside. A lot of times when you're playing tackle and you're going against smaller guys, you got to get that drop. So you square up on him right now. He just runs around him, wraps him up.
Well, Newton and Burgos don't read the blitz very well, and strong side linebacker, as you said, Chris, Darrell Hall, who's been a Mr. Everything. He can cover, he can rush the passer, super player.
2nd and 17 after the 38th sack against the Ticats this year. Now Calvillo on the move again, waving deep and throwing knocked down. Al Jordan is there to make the defensive play intended for Prince Wembley.
One of the things I saw on that play is Anthony Calvillo is getting out of pressure. He's going and trying to find an open spot to throw the ball. He's waving his receivers. He's saying, do something, get open, break your patterns. Don't stay in your routine pattern now. Come back to the ball. As you can see, you try to put it on just a slant to the outside. You're allowing the defenders to get between the ball and the receiver.
So Osbaldiston comes in to punt, and he has had a good year in that department, 3rd in the CFL, and a 48-yarder with his first attempt. Coleman from his 12, a no yards flag is down, and Coleman on the run up across the 25-yard line. 42-yard punt by Osbaldiston, and a flag down.
This Calgary secondary has played extremely well all year long, and we're going to freeze this about halfway through here, guys. Let's freeze it right now. Look at the coverage. There's no one open, and that's why Calvillo is having to break contain. Now you'll see Prince Wembley try to help him out and come back to the sideline, but by then Calvillo's in a lot of trouble. Great coverage downfield. It's been that way throughout the game so far.
Stampeders on defense in the top 2 in 12 of 25 categories. Garcia trying to kickstart the Stamps offense. And he throws a ball that one hopped into the receiver's hands. Terry Vaughn thought he had the catch, but it's incomplete.
Well, Chris Walby made a comment last series. You kind of wonder what the mindset is of this Calgary team as we watch Garcia flushed out of the pocket trying to make a throw that he can't get into Vaughn. You got to kind of wonder, they really have come out pretty listless offensively. They played pretty well defensively, but offensively really kind of wandered around.
But one of the things we've got to talk about Hamilton, we have to give them credit. On defense, they're ranked number 2 in the league as far as passing yards completed against them. And they're doing a really good job right now, too.
There's Joe Montfort digging in, 2nd and 10. Here comes the blitz. Rob Hitchcock just got to Garcia as he delivered the football incomplete.
Well, you got to like this from Hamilton's point of view. Right now, what they're doing is you got to change it up. You can't rush 3 guys, 4 guys, or stay in a stagnant type of defense. They're changing things up right now. They bring the safety on a safety blitz. He gets around the corner, comes around, keeps working, gets to Garcia just before he can unwind his throw.
Here's Mr. 100-mile-an-hour Joe Montfort. Look at him fighting, trying to get through blocks, still going. Eating up blocks. Rob Hitchcock makes the play.
And Martino trying to get into that wind. Rogers moves up to his 46. That'll be no yards. And again, Anthony Calvillo's getting the football with great field position. Well, Jordan trapped within the restraining area after the 36-yard Martino punt. Well, you can't argue with the field position that the Tiger Cats are getting here in this first quarter for Anthony Calvillo.
Now they got to take advantage and put some points in the bar. Hamilton can't.
There's no infraction on the play.
Wow.
Calgary player was pushed into the zone.
Okay.
First down.
Clearly, Al Jordan was in the zone, but he was helped in there.
Well, that's one of those calls where they say, you can see he pushes from behind right here.
Well,
I don't know about that. That's Aldi Henry, but I don't know about that. I still think that he's supposed to still be 5 yards away. As far as I'm concerned, that should have been a flag.
Ticats with a 1-0 lead here in the first quarter. And there's Ashande Smith with the catch. And Smith trying to duck outside. He's taken out of bounds near the first down marker. William Hampton, the corner on that side.
These are some of the things they need to do with Ashande Smith. He's a fast receiver. If you get him the ball with some room between him and the defensive back, he has a chance to make a play. Just going to run the hitch route. 6-yard route, set it down. It's a control route. Calvillo bangs him with the ball right now, and now's when he's dangerous. And Hampton knows it. He has the sideline to help him out. He's able to get him out of bounds, but not after about a 10-yard gain.
2nd and short. Well, this is a rare football game for the Ticats this season where they have had such a dominant edge in time of possession.
Time of possession and field position, but have yet to cash it in with the missed field goal by Osbaldson. Really nothing has turned out for the time and the field.
And you can see their offensive line is really coming off the ball well. Right? They're just coming. There's Joe Burgess at the last thing going against Jermaine Miles, excuse me. You got to start dominating the line of scrimmage. It's all about the pits.
Thought you'd bring that slant to the broadcast booth. Here's Calvillo. And he finds a receiver in the flat, and that's complete to Prince Wembley, who seems to be the favorite receiver for Anthony Calvillo in this first quarter. Close to another first down.
Well, it looks like some adjustments have been made on the sideline because now Calvillo's getting the ball out quick. He's taking the flat throws. Here Wembley just sets down for him outside. This is very similar to the hitch route he hit two plays previous. And these are the kind of throws he has to take.
And you know what I like, David, is he's using the whole field. He's coming to the right side of the field. He's going to the left side of the field. He's really spreading the Calgary defense.
First down with 90 seconds to play in the first quarter. Ticats at the Calgary 38. And Calvillo was turned around as he delivered that football. Jermaine Miles, the newcomer, replacing the injured Steve Anderson, bothered Calvillo enough to throw the incompletion.
And Jermaine Miles is not a shy person. He's going to tell you what he's here for. He says, I am the sack man. He led sacks in Georgia Tech. He led them both years, 95, 96 sacks. He says, when I'm out in the field, you're going to see me. You're going to hear about me. I am a sack specialist. And this is a guy who's never played a game, so he's pretty confident in his abilities.
Calvillo now 2nd and 10. Calgary territory. Over the middle, Mike Morreale has the catch. Daryl Hall has the tackle at the 32. It'll be well short of the first down. And now Paul Osbaldiston will likely get the call.
And a nice job of picking up the blitz.
Well, you can see there's nobody in the middle of the field right here. That means they're coming. And it also means you have to throw sight adjustment. Sight adjustment is a route that has to be thrown underneath because you don't have enough people to block everybody. They're coming with too many people. You throw a sight adjustment. It's a sight adjustment between the receiver and the quarterback, and that's what happens in 2nd and long. They make you throw underneath, come up and make the tackle. You're short of the first down.
From 40 yards out this time. And Osbaldiston misses to the other side. Well, a couple of deflating misses by the veteran who is hearing it from the Ivor Wynn crowd.
And the boys are coming off the bench, and they're really trying to pump him up, pump Ozzie up. They know what Ozzie can do. He's been in the league for a number of years. He's won scoring championships. He can do it. He's in a slump right now. It's like a batter who just keeps swinging and can't make contact with the ball. He just needs to pump one through to get that feeling again.
Yeah, but when you're a 1-10 team and your kicker can't kick the ball through the uprights, you got to start saying you made a lot of decisions, a lot of changes on this team. Brought in new receivers, new linebackers. I mean, you need to get the points. Maybe you need to think about putting a new kicker in the game.
Well, I just want to tell you right now, you're not on his Christmas card list.
At the 35, Stampeders start, and Kelvin Anderson close to the Stampeders' initial first down before he's drilled back at the 45. Lamar McGriggs was there. K.D. Williams was some words of advice for Paul Osbaldiston. Not sure about his resume in the kicking department.
He is just a fireball out there. He's Mr. Emotion. He's all over the field. He just likes it. The last play you saw him, he knifed in, almost made the play on Anderson. He is just Mr. Excitement.
Should be the final play of the first quarter. 2-0. Ticats with the lead. And Kelvin Anderson will dive for the first down. Gun signals the end of the opening quarter here at Ivor Wynn. The Ticats with the lead, but it should have been more.
Welcome back to Hamilton, and that picture says it all. Paul Osbaldiston, a picture of frustration, missing back-to-back field goals, and he's talking like a golfer who has lost his swing. He told me he hooked the first one, tried to push the second one. He can't seem to find that pendulum in the middle, and so far it's cost the Cats 2 field goals well within his range. Chris?
I've had more than a few days on the golf course like that.
Very difficult to score from the trees, no question about it. But Garcia 0 for 5 in the first quarter, no passing yards, which is something that this team prides itself on down through the years. When Doug Flutie was part of this ball club, they pride themselves on their passing game, and Hamilton's defense has risen to the occasion.
And Garcia has held a hot hand of late, 3rd in pass rating efficiency in the league, but it took him all 15 minutes of the opening quarter to generate the first Calgary first down, and now Garcia pulls it down and is stopped at the 50 after a gain of just 3. Lamar McGriggs there to stop the Calgary quarterback.
Well, we talked about the defensive coverage in the secondary downfield, and Garcia's having a problem finding people get open. He steps up, he's got enough time, it's great protection. Now he's going to pull it down. He's just, like you said, he's the seventh leading rusher in this league, but I guarantee he would like to throw the football down the field.
This Cat defense, 3rd in first downs allowed, 3rd in yards, 2nd against the pass, and a passing situation here. Terry Vaughn, did he pull that one off the turf? No, incomplete. And again, Stampeders will have to kick it away.
And Hamilton tried to change it again by bringing Hitchcock on a safety blitz. They worked first time. They sacked Garcia or got some before he threw the ball. This time he's picked up on the outside of your right, has time to throw the ball. Unfortunately, skips it to the receiver.
I'll tell you what, Terry Vaughn made a heck of an effort to try to snag this off the carpet, and that's pretty close. The referee didn't look like he was really sure about making the decision either.
And he has made a number of circus catches in the last couple of weeks.
Rogers from his 15. Sam Rogers, and he can't get by Chris Lewis, who makes the sure tackle after the 43-yard punt. Here's Mark Lee.
Well, Chris, we welcome your opinions on our broadcasts or just a chance to talk football on our CFL on CBC internet address. Last Tuesday night, we had a great hour of chat line. Chris Walby, Dave Archer, and myself. And this week, it's Chris and Chris at 9 o'clock Eastern, Tuesday night, to talk football.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. We had people from all over the country talking to us through the cybernet.
And I really like the fact there's a lot of Americans who are calling in from across the border who are really devout followers, people that probably moved from Canada, loving the game.
Here's Calvillo. Look at him with a little Houdini act. Anthony Calvillo now tracked down by Daryl Hall. After Calvillo showed you his elusiveness. But Daryl Hall's had a big first half for the Stamps.
He has, and that's the second sack, I believe, for Daryl Hall. But Jermaine Miles is the cause of this. He comes from the lower part of your screen, does a nice inside move, beats Valser and Jermaine, forces the rhythm of Calvillo right off, and of course he does the rest on his own. He eludes a couple other tacklers here. Daryl Hall's not going to lose a foot road. Do you think he's faster than Daryl Hall, AC?
It didn't look like there.
Loss of 5. Second and 15. Better protection and an open receiver and a first down. Mike Morreale has the catch with Marvin Coleman hanging on.
We've done several games with Hamilton over the last couple of weeks, and this is the best I've seen them distribute their receivers. They're really stretching the field, and Calvillo's getting a good look. This is when Anthony Calvillo's at his best. Nobody in the backfield, widen the field out for him, and he finds his receiver down the field for the first down. But that's when you get him at his best. He threw for over 500 yards, as Chris Walby alluded to early, twice last year.
Big second down conversion there. Now first down. And they dump it off underneath to Archie Amerson, and he beats Alondra Johnson. Alondra, the big middle linebacker, with the stop.
Does a nice job, just runs across the middle, little dump pass, put in his hands, let him do the rest on his own. He's got some moves. He's not a very tall person, so he's got a low center of gravity. He's like a pinball type guy. You want to get him in the open field.
Amerson got 8, second and 2. Here's the option toss to Amerson, and he scampers outside right to the first down stick, where he's met by Marvin Coleman. That should move the sticks.
This is well played by Calgary's defense. The key to the play is Andrew Griggs' block on the outside on Coleman. Archie Amerson trying to get outside, and you see Coleman being blocked by Griggs. He slides off, and there's the leading tackler on this Calgary defense is their corner, their short side corner. Marvin Coleman always plays the short side. He's also number 4 in the CFL in tackles.
Is that because they're throwing at him a lot, or is it the fact that he's coming up and he plays the run so well?
He plays the run well. He's 5'9", 170, and he loves to stick his head in there.
First down, Ticats. Calvillo, wide open, Morreale. Foot race, and Coleman makes another tackle. This one saved a touchdown.
Well, Dave alluded to this earlier. When you're bringing a blitz, there's nobody in the middle. Wide open. Calvillo eludes the pressure, throws a nice pass down there to Griggs down the middle.
49 yards to the former Argo Hamilton native Mike Morreale.
Free safeties out in the middle field. The middle field's open. Cal gonna find it. He sees it down the middle, and Mike Morreale is not picked up by Daryl Hall, and now the the touchdown saving tackle is made by Marvin Coleman.
Mike Morreale already one of his biggest games of the year. First down, Hamilton. Calvillo looking in the end zone for Ashonde Smith, and he throws that to the back line. Incomplete.
And he is really stretching his defense. He's going deep. He started off the game going sideline to sideline, nickel diamond. Now he's trying to really stretch the defense. He's throwing in a couple of runs, a couple little swing passes to the running back. He's really mixing up the offense well right now.
Dave, there's a lot of talk about a quarterback watching from the sidelines. Can you really learn much from the sidelines?
I think there's a limited amount of stuff you can learn from the sideline. This is a guy that's played too much in this league to learn a lot from the sideline.
Second and 10 now from the Calgary 18. Calvillo took a hit. And the pass ball's incomplete as Morreale couldn't gather that in. And boy, Calvillo really was stung by Jermaine Miles.
Well, we mentioned him earlier in the broadcast. He's working against Val St. Germain again. This time just an outside move, beats him on his shoulder, keeps pushing, collapses the pocket, and gets a good shot on Anthony Calvillo, who got up shaking his arm. And Dave, I don't know if they can afford to lose Calvillo right now. He's on somewhat of a roll.
Yeah, Calvillo's playing extremely well right now, Chris, and I thought he misread that coverage. I thought he had a Shonda Smith on the other side.
Well, Paul Osbaldiston trying to change his fortunes, and that one just got through. And he'll hear it from the fans, and Osbaldiston reacts to the fans as well. So the Ticats up their lead. Third time lucky for Paul Osbaldiston, who missed his opening 2 field goal attempts. And this one from 25 yards out was just inside the upright.
Yeah, he just hooked that one around the pole, didn't he? I wouldn't say the hooks or the slices are cured after that kick.
But the Ticats have expanded their lead with 9.5 minutes to go in this first half. 5-0. Marvin Coleman on the move. And he is wrestled down at the 33-yard line by Gerald Bond.
Now Ozzie just barely hooked one in the pole for his first kick in 3 today, and he had a little message to deliver to the crowd who booed him on the first 2 as Ozzie was strutting off the field. See his teammates come over to congratulate, but just before that he had gestured to the crowd in a nastily way.
Very nasty, and I think, you know what, that's one of the things when you're playing an individual position like that where it's all on you.
Kelvin Anderson worked his way up to the 39 before he's drilled back. Joe Montfort leading the defensive surge. Last week, the Calgary defense did a good job of Mike Saunders, and now Hamilton trying to return the favor on Kelvin Anderson.
Well, they are number 4 against the run, and they've got some big boys in there led by Phil Brick, who was the nominee defensive player for this team last year. Mike Campbell, a wily veteran. They got some good people on the defensive line.
Second down and 4. The lone setback. Anderson has the ball and has the first down up at the 44.
Kelvin Anderson on this offense is a guy that needs to touch the ball 20, 25 times in the game for them to be successful. They don't have Dave Sapunjis making plays for him anymore inside, although Vince Danielson's filled in nicely. Kelvin Anderson is a guy that's grown up in this offense. Last year was Rookie of the Year. He now is a feature focal point of this offense. He needs to touch the ball several times, as does Terry Vaughn. These are guys that are forgotten in this offense.
Just the second first down of the game for Jeff Garcia. And back to Anderson again. And he's tripped up on a nice defensive play by Lamar McGriggs.
Great job by Lamar reading the play and coming up and stuffing on the line of scrimmage. But one of the stats I think it's really important is the fact that you haven't even seen Danielson or Pitts. When's the time in the first quarter have you not seen a ball go their way?
Lamar McGriggs is going to knife in from the left side. Right there. Plays off the block. 6th in the league in tackles.
Sam Rogers comes in as the extra DB for Hamilton on second down and 9. Garcia to Pitts. That's a big catch by Alan Pitts to finally get something going Calgary's way. 16 yards for Alan Pitts.
Alan Pitts does a great job of getting off the jam here from Lamar McGriggs. And we're going to look at the traffic. Let's freeze it about right now, boys. Look at the people around. You got a defender here, a defender here. There's one coming in from here and one over here. And he's in the crack, and he makes a nice play.
Took over 23 minutes for Jeff Garcia to find his first receiver, the reliable Alan Pitts. And Calgary into Hamilton territory. Garcia over the middle, and it's brought down by Travis Moore. And back-to-back receptions as Garcia starts to warm up.
They're making some adjustments on that Calgary side of the ball. And we just mentioned the fact before that Pitts and Danielson were not part of the offense. He hits Pitts with a nice catch. He makes a nice grab in traffic. Bam, he hits another one down the field. He's starting to get a rhythm right now. And I don't know if they're making adjustments on their route, Dave, but they are finding some openings right now.
Well, Travis Moore, as we see the big lick being put on Garcia, is the forgotten man in this offense since Alan Pitts came back. After Alan Pitts came back, he only has 13 receptions on the year.
50th catch of the season for Moore overall. First down, Garcia dancing and throwing high and drilled on the play. Orlando Steinauer nailing Vince Danielson.
And that looks painful, I tell you. One of the nice things, I mean, I'm sitting here in awe because I'm thinking these receivers, sometimes people don't understand the crack you take when you go up for a ball like that. And Orlando coming just takes a nice helmet and shoulder pad right in the thigh. And you only have a thigh pad just in the front, about 4 inches in front of your leg.
I don't think that's going to sit well with the roommates. You kind of strung him up there a little bit.
2nd and 10. As Garcia tries to keep Calgary's first drive alive. Rolling right and wide open. There's Travis Moore. And another Calgary first down. You talked about Moore being the forgotten man, and he wants to be remembered here because there's talk in Calgary about Brian Wiggins returning to the Stampeders, and Moore fighting for his job gets another catch of 17 yards.
This is why it's important to keep the quarterback in the pocket if you're a defense, because now when he gets outside, he buys himself some more time. The coverage downfield was super to start off with, but when he broke contain, it allowed Moore to find the crack.
Ball on the 16 of Hamilton. First down, Garcia to Terry Vaughn. Flag comes down as Vaughn dances down to the 6-yard line. Finally dragged down by Mike Campbell.
I think they're going to call a holding penalty on this. On Calgary. They're both pointing at each other here.
Like that's a surprise.
Yeah, I've been in many of those discussions. I was not holding.
There's no infraction on the play. The pass was caught behind the line of scrimmage. 2nd down.
What the flag was originally thrown for is they were saying there were linemen downfield on a forward pass, but if the ball is thrown behind the line of scrimmage, linemen can be downfield. And that was a screen pass to Vaughn and a well-thrown ball by Jeff Garcia.
And a gain of 9 by Vaughn, so 2nd and 1. Garcia playing it close to the vest. Should be close to the first, but a flag is down.
Outside. Hamilton. First down.
Very common penalty in real short situations. The defensive line, linebackers like to get up there and crouch, take as much of the yard away as they possibly can from the offensive line. You got to give them the yard.
Now the ball at the 3-yard line. It's a 1st and goal for Calgary. 4 receivers go to the left-hand side. They fake to Anderson. K.D. Williams on the blitz, and the ball thrown in a hurry to Alan Pitts on the hop.
The 2 guys forcing the play are the 2 new linebackers on this team. Lamar McGriggs to the front side and coming hard from the backside, K.D. Williams. Alan Pitts finding it hard just to get open. Gerald Vaughn shadows him very well. The ball's thrown underneath and low, but K.D. Williams and Lamar McGriggs were in Jeff Garcia's face.
We talked about time of possession. The Stamps have had the football for over 5 minutes, trying to cap the drive. It's 2nd and 3. Kelvin Anderson, a walk-in touchdown, Calgary.
Well, it looks like a bit of a blown coverage there. Somebody was supposed to pick Calvin Anderson coming out of the backfield. They look like they're shaking their head. Who was supposed to be on him?
Well, what happens on the play, Chris, is they decide to blitz. K.D. Williams blitzes from the short side, and he's covering the back. And when he blitzes, there is no coverage for the back. You'll see K.D. Williams coming. There he is right there. There's nobody covering Kelvin Anderson. Great block on Lamar McGriggs by Terry Vaughn allows Anderson to beat him to the corner.
You know, I think what happened on that play is that Calvin Tiggle, because of the fact that KD was blitzing, was supposed to come over from his middle linebacker position and pick up Calvin Anderson.
Second receiving touchdown of the year for Anderson, and second in as many weeks. McLaughlin adds the extra point, and the Osbaldiston misses early are magnified. Garcia's got Calgary's offense moving, and they have the lead 7-5 here in the first half. Danny Barrett conferring with Jeff Garcia. Travis Moore, who had a couple of big catches in that drive. Kelvin Anderson got it started on the ground and finished it with that little 3-yard toss from Jeff Garcia. Good looking drive, 11 plays, almost 6 minutes long. Stampeders with their first lead of the game. Calgary has been at 500 3 times this season. They haven't been over 500 this year. There's Janelle Jourdain diving over the 30 up to the 32, and it will be Ticat football when we come back to Ivor Wynne.
Kelvin Anderson of the Stampeders has the game's only touchdown as he takes a breather and basks in the sunshine here at Ivor Wynne. Here's what's coming up at the half. Football, often described as a game of controlled violence, will feature a day in the life of a trainer, the man that keeps these guys playing whether they're hurt or not. We'll also celebrate 5 new inductees into the CFL Hall of Fame and have the first half highlights. Chris?
Some great names going into the Hall of Fame last night. More on that coming up. Ticats down, first time in the game. Calvillo throws that center screen to Jourdain, and he's taken down by Anthony McClanahan.
Does a great job of reading the screen. He's in his drop, comes back up, fights off the block, and makes the tackle. Nice job. You want to get those big offensive linemen on the linebackers downfield. Release, let the defensive lineman up in your face. Bam.
It works just like a run. Pick up 6 yards. Now you have a good situation on second down to try to convert and move the chains.
From the Hamilton 38. Flip drop, Calvillo going to the wide side of the field and has the first down. Morreale scrambling on the turf to pick up even more yardage with his 5th catch of the game. Under 3 minutes to go in the first half. We'll take a timeout here at Ivor Wynne. Ricky Foggy had started the last 2 games for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Now he is the backup to Anthony Calvillo, but an important veteran player with a second set of eyes for young Anthony Calvillo here.
Oh, he's probably on the horn there with Don Blackwelder, the offensive coordinator. They're trying to coordinate what they want to do here.
Ticats with a first down. Calvillo pumps once, looking deep. Looking for Andrew Craig, who comes down with the football. Craig inside the Calgary 25, outdueled the rookie William Hampton for a big catch.
Nice catch. Nice concentration on the play.
These are the kind of things receivers have to come up with for a struggling quarterback or a struggling team. This is a receiver group that hasn't worked very much together. As we said, no group has played 2 or more games all season long. This is a new group again this week for Calvillo. Andrew Grigg comes up with a super catch.
And a good job by the offensive line, giving him the time to throw deep.
Andrew Grigg, who came into the game with 15 catches, has a pair of big ones already. Here's an open receiver, Shonda Smith, and coming across to make the defensive play, the safety, John Kalen.
Well, if Kalen doesn't knock it down, it's probably picked off by William Hampton. The cornerback falls off, and again, Calvillo's got to be careful with the throws up the field. As you see the corner coming in right there, Hampton, he's coming in, as well as Kalen, but standing in the flat all alone, Mike Morreale. You have to be careful of these throws, especially when you get in the scoring zone. Don't want to give the football up down here.
2nd and 10 from the Calgary 24. Calvillo looks to his left and throws this one out of bounds. Prince Wembley was the intended receiver.
And what I like, I tell you, one of the things that Hamilton is doing right now is the offensive line of Hamilton is giving Calvillo time to throw. He's starting to get some confidence, and he's throwing deep, and he's throwing to the sideline, and he's feeling confident.
Well, Calvillo has outgunned Jeff Garcia in this first half.
I don't think anyone would have predicted that. This is a huge play right here. They need to They need to convert this field goal right here. Ozzie needs to stick this through for this team to keep them rolling, because the team's looking to hang their hat on anything, and that's putting points on the board.
31-yard attempt. He's missed 2. The other one barely went through, and he's missed again. And now it's 7-6. But it's already been a long afternoon for number 3.
Well, they've given up 6 points now. They should have had 3 chip shots for Ozzie. 6 more points should be on the board. It should be 12 points for Hamilton right now. Instead, they're down by 1. A lot of frustration in there. I know the players, I talked earlier, they were coming over, but it seems like now every time he misses, less and less players will come over to congratulate Ozzie. And I guarantee if he misses another one, he's going to be a very lonely one, because his wife won't be talking to him.
14 of 27 on the year.
Well, and it's not like they're long field goals either. Like you say, they're 30, 31-yard attempts.
7-6. Stamps maintain the lead. Garcia goes back to work to Alan Pitts, and he's down to the Hamilton 45-yard line. The big target pulling down a 30-yard reception from quarterback Garcia.
This is the first time I've seen Calgary try to stretch the field vertically. They send 3-4 receivers straight up the field. Pitts is in the scene. He's 6'4". He goes up high and makes the catch. He's got Danielson and Pitts running the seam routes. That's between the numbers and the hash marks. They're both 6'3" or 6'4", 2 big targets.
Now 40 receptions away from 3rd overall, which is held by Rocky DiPietro, the Hall of Famer as of last night. Here's Garcia back to Pitts. And a flag flies as Pitts is down to the 34-yard line. Gerald Vaughn in coverage for Hamilton.
A collision right at the top of the route. They're going to flag him from an ineligible man downfield, but a good collision to the top of the stem. You see the Hamilton defense trying to...
Ineligible receiver, Calgary number 18, feet first down.
Well, what happens there is Alan Pitts trying to hug the line of scrimmage at the snap, running from his slot back position, was on the line of scrimmage at the snap of the ball, and because there's a receiver on the line outside of him, it makes him ineligible. And of course, he made the catch there, so can't throw it to a guy that's not allowed to catch it.
Well, that's right, Dave. You only allowed 7 men on the line of scrimmage. Number 8 means you're going backwards.
Pitts just his 6th game of the season. And now it's 1st and 20. Garcia steps up, and he'll take off. Here's Jeff Garcia with a lot of room. Joe Montford in pursuit, but Garcia will get to the sidelines with the first down untouched. 26-yard scamper for Garcia.
Well, Jeff has 96 carries for 519 yards, and he has scored 5 touchdowns. He's done a tremendous workout regime in the offseason. He's built like a bodybuilder. He wants to run.
We're going to roll this one about halfway through, and we're going to determine when Garcia decides he needs to pull it down. You see, there's the underneath route. Just freeze it right here, guys. Now Jeff doesn't really feel like he can get the ball in right here, so he's going to pull it down and run with it.
First down, 6 receivers out for Garcia, who has time and throws it up. K.D. Williams comes down with it. A big pick for the Hamilton defense. They keep making plays, and K.D. picks off Garcia.
Well, we said that the linebackers of Hamilton would have to make key plays today. K.D. comes up and makes a great interception right now to snuff a drive. You couldn't let Calgary go in there and get some points at the end of the first half.
Just the 9th interception tossed by Garcia on the season.
Well, this Hamilton defense has done this all year long, even before K.D. Williams and Lamar McGriggs arrive. But K.D. just floats in the zone and intercepts the ball. And these guys have played so well all year long. They don't deserve to be 1-10 on defense.
And don't deserve to be trailing in this one, albeit by a point. Calvillo, he'll pull it down. Anthony Calvillo up to the 45-yard line, close to a first down. Minute 7 to go on the clock here in the first half.
Well, we mentioned KD. We mentioned the fact of what he brings to this team. You can see Garcia's looking in the middle. KD, as you said, is just floating in the middle. Picks up, actually, there's 2 guys that were going for the receiver. Orlando Steinhauer wanted number 6 for himself there. Of course, that's a great thing when you can see Hamilton fighting for the ball back there. And I agree with you, Dave. This defense is not 1-11.
2nd and short. They'll give to Amerson. Kicks it outside. Archie Amerson over midfield and into Calgary territory at the 53-yard line. And Amerson a little slow to get up after the 12-yard romp. But Calvillo trying to get them back into field goal range, trying to give Osbaldiston one more shot before the first half's over.
And the nice thing about this, you watch here, it's just a simple handoff. He's going to go up, he breaks it outside. It's an off-tackle play. Good eyesight, good peripheral vision. Amerson takes it outside, picks up a first down.
And it looks like Bronzell Miller landed on Amerson's leg. John Kalin also on the tackle. And Amerson getting attention. Archie Amerson on his feet, hobbling to the Ticats sidelines. Looks like he'll be okay. Dean Noel checks in at a running back position. The clock is running. 42 seconds to go. First half. Ticats on the move at the Calgary 54-yard line. Again, the double pump by Calvillo. Wide open was Wembley, but he's out of bounds.
Again, you got to like what the fact that Hamilton's doing. Their offensive line is giving them some tremendous protection right here, allowing Calvillo to stretch the defense and go deep, and there was broken coverage there. Prince Wembley III was open down the sideline, but unfortunately AC threw a little too far and out of bounds.
Yeah, they teach you as a quarterback when you first start playing the game that for your guys to actually catch the football, they have to catch it in between the two big white stripes. It doesn't count if they catch it out there. This is wide enough field as it is.
That's right, for sure.
A couple of times he's missed like that, wide to the wide side. Will Oz get another chance before the half's done? 2nd and 10. And Calvillo drops the football. And it looks like Calgary gets on it. Oh, shades of Olympic Stadium in Montreal about a month ago when Anthony Calvillo couldn't hold on to the football, and this time Jermaine Miles in his first CFL game comes up with the recovery.
Well, Anthony's played extremely well all year long, or all game long, but he has had a problem all season with hanging on to the football. That's his 10th fumble of the year from the quarterback slot, and it's inexplainable. He just drops the football.
I mean, sometimes, I remember Tommy Clemens had small hands, but even he held on to the ball, except when it got into cold weather. Now, I'm wondering what's happening here. Are they overinflating the balls? I'm sure he's going to go check the pressure because that's a backbreaker.
23 seconds to go at the 47 of Hamilton. Garcia can put some points on the board. Vince Danielson, ball knocked down. Lamar McGriggs makes the defensive play for the Cats. Boy, McGriggs and Williams have certainly made a bigger impact in this game than a week ago at Skydome.
Oh, these are the skills that Lamar McGriggs brings to you. He's running with the top receiver on this team, stride for stride, dives and tips the ball out of there. This is a super linebacker core here in Hamilton.
Speed. They've got great speed.
Mark McLaughlin's longest field goal of the year, 52 yards. If Calgary can't move it, they'd be trying a 54-yarder. 16 seconds to play. Here's Garcia. Now delivers, and open is Pitts. And Pitts has the catch at the 25. Down to 9 seconds remaining. And a timeout has been called.
And that's one thing about Calgary. You got guys like Pitts, they're just game breakers to you. They always do big plays at big times. And of course, here he is. Garcia breaks the pocket, looks for somebody, and Pitts, being the wily veteran he is, finds the opening, comes back to the ball. Ball's so a little low where only he can catch it, and does a great job of trailing the ball.
Ready for quick field goal line.
When this Hamilton defense is broken down, it's been when Garcia's broken contained, Chris, like you said, but it's tough for defensive backs to continue to cover when they cover for 4 or 5. Now it's 6 seconds and they're trying to hang on to a guy. It's really difficult, and the Calgary receivers do a great job of coming back to their quarterback. They know Garcia has the ability to move. They're always watching, looking over their shoulder in case their quarterback is in trouble. They come back and help him.
At the 26, 9 seconds to play. One shot for Garcia to find the end zone. Garcia will just put it in better position for Mark McLaughlin. K.D. Williams was coming on the blitz there, sneaking off the line, off the edge.
And you see quarterbacks do this a lot of time to try and set up the ball. And then when they get the ball, they try to get it out of bounds. And then when they get the ball, they try to get it out of bounds. And then when they get the ball, they try to get it out of bounds. And then when they get the ball, they try to get it out of bounds. And then when they get the ball, they try to get it out of bounds. And then when they get the ball, they try to get it out of bounds. And then when they get the ball, they try to get it out of bounds. And then when they get the ball, they try to get it out of bounds. And then when they get the ball, they try to get it out of bounds. And then when they get the ball, they try to get it out of bounds. And then when they get the ball, they try to get it out of bounds. And then when they get the ball, they try to get it out of bounds. And then when they get the ball, they try to get it out of bounds. And then when they get the ball, they try to get it out of bounds. And then when they get the ball, they try to get it out of bounds. And then when they get the ball, they try to get it out of bounds. And then when they get the ball, they try to get it out in a nice position for the field goal kicker. But I've seen Doug Flutie do it to us, actually, when he played for Calgary, go around the left side, trying to set up the ball. There was nobody there, and he ends up taking it 40 yards for a touchdown. That really kills you.
Would that have been your call, Dave?
No, I would have taken a shot at the end zone. I'm a little surprised at 9 seconds they didn't allow Garcia to take one shot down the field.
Instead, they'll settle for a 30-yard McLaughlin field goal attempt, marked at 75% on the year after a shaky start to the season. Dickinson the holder, and flags are flying.
I got a flag.
And procedure will make it 5 yards longer for McLaughlin.
And a lot of people ask, how can you get procedure on a field goal? What it is a center, before he snaps the ball, will readjust the ball. He'll move the ball. The defensive linemen are trained to watch the ball. They react to the ball moving. A lot of times the referees don't catch it, and they'll call the defense for offside.
Calgary number 91, still second down.
But in this case, the referee caught him. It's a great call because a lot of times it's not called that way.
Now a timeout has been called by the Tiger Cats. Paulus Baldus has come on. And in case McLaughlin misses this, they'll try and kick it out of the end zone.
Yeah, they have a certain crew that comes into the game in this situation, try to get it out of the end zone so they don't have to give up the single should this be a miss by McLaughlin. So Osbaldison is now on the field. Mike Moriali is now in the ball game. They get some people on the field that have the athletic ability to catch it and kick it out of the end zone. This is a group that doesn't get a lot of work in practice. You probably just line them up and say, okay, this is where you stand, and then you get them off the field because you don't have a lot of time to spend time on these special teams.
And I guarantee you, Ozzy's not going to run the ball out of the end zone.
On the 35, McLaughlin makes all of that posturing in the end zone academic as he splits the uprights. Final play of the first half, and the Calgary Stampeders add to their lead. And Urban Bowman, still in pursuit of his first win, will probably try to figure out how the heck his team's not in front at the half.
Well, Urban's done a good job of preparing his team because they're right in this one. I don't know that Calgary came in and actually took them lightly, but you can't take this Ticat defense lightly. They're tough.
Well, it should be 12-10 for Hamilton. Unfortunately, they're down by 4.
Halftime in Hamilton.
Paulus Baldwin 1 for 4 in field goals. Anthony Calvillo a lost fumble. Otherwise, the Cats own the first half, but they're down by 4 here at halftime at Ivor Wynne Stadium. Well, this has been a busy season for Chris Puskis. You won't read his name in the sports section, and he hasn't scored a touchdown this year, but he may well be the Ticats MVP. Chris Puskis is the Ticat trainer, and in an injury-riddled season, he has figured prominently.
Quad contusions, hamstring pulls, calf cramps, ankle sprains, pulls, turf toe, plantar fasciitis, rotator cuff strains. A sport like this, you deal with pretty much everything you can imagine. The psychological aspect of the game is huge as far as preparation, as far as performance. If guys are confident that they're healthy, if they're confident that they're ready to play, they will tend to play better. Blaine's one of our athletes that likes to get his hammers warmed up before the game, so it's a long, hard season, and the bumps tend to multiply. As the season goes on, players spend a little bit more time in the cold tub, a little bit more time in the therapy room. It's a constant effort to keep people ready, and one of the joys is that there's a different challenge for each season, each game, each day. Our taping budget is approximately $30,000. During the season, there's a lot of hours. I probably won't get a day off until end of November. That makes it difficult, especially on loved ones who like to do things on the weekends and stuff. It's pretty hard on my wife. Game day, baby, game day. Where do you feel it now, inside or outside? Same one? On game day, I'm basically a liaison between players and the doctor, the doctors and the coach. It's my job to keep everybody informed, whether it's an injury that I feel the doc needs to look at, or an injury that the coaches should know about. You want to leave it there? I'm good. We really encourage our players to start hydrating well before the game. Like, I mean, a day like today, as hot as it is, and you guys are sweating just standing on the sideline, you can imagine running around for 60 minutes. So far, so good. No injuries, no yards rushing for me. It's the way I like it. The biggest fear for me is serious injury, of course. Anything that could be career-threatening or permanent. It worries me, you know, how these guys are going to feel it, you know, 10, 15 years from now. Again, it's part of the game, and everybody knows what they're getting themselves into. And this is my 4th year in the CFL, and I met some fantastic people. Team sports seem to bring that out, and I just really enjoyed the people I've met, and they make my job fun. One of our walking wounded. Say hi. When we see players getting better, and we see them on the field performing at a higher level than at the time they were injured, I think it gives me and my staff satisfaction that maybe we've made a contribution to the team.
A lot of responsibility for a young man who's only 26 years old. Chris told me during the first half he's glad to go unnoticed because that means nobody's hurt. And as he says it, so far so good. No yards rushing and no injuries for the Ticats. They could use some help on the scoreboard as they trail Calgary by 4 at the half in Hamilton. We're back in Hamilton on Hall of Fame weekend in the CFL, and the home team is down by 4 to Calgary at the half. Well, 5 new members were inducted into the Canadian Football Hall of Fame, and the ceremonies continue at halftime as I speak. It's perhaps the greatest compliment you can give an athlete, and whether you were a flower child fan of the 60s or radically Canadian in the 90s, these names evoke strong images from a rose-colored era. "30 years ago, Canadians celebrated the centennial year at Expo 67. That same year in Toronto, an American named Bill Simons began a celebrated CFL career. Simons would become the first Argo running back to rush for more than 1,000 yards in a season. In 1968, he became the CFL's most outstanding player. 1972, Paul Henderson scored Canadian hockey's biggest goal, and a giant named Junior Ayew took hockey-mad Montreal by storm. Twice an All-Canadian, twice a Grey Cup champion with the Alouettes, his blitz struck fear into the hearts of CFL quarterbacks. 1976, the Olympic year. Montreal got its Big O, and BC had Big Al, center Al Wilson, the cog in the Lion offensive line, an enduring image for 15 seasons, 7 times an All-Canadian. He played 167 consecutive games. 1989, East meets West. The Berlin Wall comes down just as a CFL milestone crumbles in Hamilton. Slotback Rocky DiPietro got his hands on the CFL record for most catches in a career. Twice the CFL's most outstanding Canadian, Rocky's work ethic was revered in a city built on steel. As Beatlemania swept the nation, a quiet revolution was building in Quebec, this one on the football field. Bruce Coulter, a former Alouette, was grooming future CFLers as a coach at Bishop's University. A lengthy career that stretched from 1961 to 1990. Bruce Coulter, celebrated as a builder. There he is, the man of the hour, former Ticats slotback Rocky DiPietro, enjoying the crowd and the sunshine, and a special honor here at halftime. And how about this man, big Junior Ayew, pushing 50 years of age, and looks like he can still track down a few quarterbacks in the CFL. Al Wilson, 167 straight games, interrupted only in the early 80s by a knee injury. Wasn't he an enduring image with the BC Lions? And how about Bruce Coulter in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, a coach at Bishop's University? I played against his team when I played at Carleton University back in the 70s. A great day for football here in Hamilton. Not sure who's leading whom here as we return to the halftime at Ivor Stadium, where the Ticats trail by 4 and still looking for their first home win of the season. Just barely some elbow room here in the booth at halftime. But what about the Cats? They should be leading if Ozzie hits his 4 field goals.
Well, Paul Osbal has won so many football games for the Hamilton Tiger Cats in the last 12 years, but right now there's nobody in this city that feels worse than he does after missing 3 of 4. I thought we might see him get another chance before Calvillo fumbled in the final minute.
Yeah, the fumble extinguished another opportunity for Ozzie. I played against Ozzie last year. He had 8 in a game against the Ottawa Rough Riders last year. Actually did all the scoring for this Ticat team, so he has the ability to make some kicks. He just has really struggled this season.
Looks like he's lost his confidence. No, he told me that, he tries one thing, tries another, and he can't find his rhythm.
Well, it all got started with Calvillo making several plays, and this was one to Mike Moriali. Marvin Coleman had to come in and save a touchdown, and it snuffed out a drive, and they had to try a field goal, which was a miss. But then Jeff Garcia got things going.
Garcia did a little swing pass out here to Calvin Anderson. Gets a really nice block you can't see by Terry Vaughn. Runs it in the end zone. Touchdown, Calgary.
And one of the big differences in the first half, Calvillo 206 yards passing, while Garcia only 112. So it should be Hamilton on top, but it isn't.
Well, if Anthony Calvillo can settle down, hang on to the football, the offense is looking better than it has in weeks here in Hamilton. Maybe they've got a shot.
And there was a kid out here at halftime doing a promotion who was 2 for 2 in the field goal department, so watch out, Ozzie.
He might be in a black and gold uniform before we know it. It's 10-6 Calgary as Jeff Garcia finds one of his favorites, Alan Pitts, here in the first half.
Hamilton Tiger Cats trying to snap a 7-game losing streak. Calgary Stampeders looking for their 7th win of the season. Trying to go over 500 for the first time this year. And here are the numbers from the opening half of football.
Once again, the Ticat defense has stepped up. You see the passing yards, which is glaring. That's something this defense has done extremely well this season. His whole team's down throwing the football. And Jeff Garcia is going to have to get some things going, and I'm sure that Alan Pitts will be a featured part of that. He caught several balls at the end of the half, and I'm sure he'll be involved in the second half.
And Garcia got all his yards in the second quarter. He was 0 for 5 in the first quarter, so he's starting to catch fire a little bit, get a little rhythm going. And it's going to be dependent upon Hamilton's defense to keep playing the way they are to give them any chance of winning this ball game.
Jeff was saying yesterday, the one thing about Calgary so far this year, they really haven't had the go-to guy or a go-to play to depend on as in previous years. Well, Anthony Calvillo, though, a solid first half. In fact, Hamilton hadn't been over 200 yards passing in 2 of the last 3 games, but he's done that and more in the first half, and he spread the wealth.
Yeah, this offense is rated last in a lot of categories, and you see this is a receiver core we talked about that hasn't been together, and they've got a lot of injuries. Bert Thornton's missing, Ted Long's missing, obviously Earl Winfield is gone. These guys have stepped up and made some plays. They just have not been able to punch the ball in the end zone.
One thing they did was catch the football in the first half, and that wasn't the case a week ago against the Toronto Argonauts, when the receiving corps didn't help their quarterback at all. That was a terrific catch there by Andrew Grigg.
Yeah, Urban Bowman had said when we had a chance to talk with him yesterday that they had 14 incompletions in the game against Toronto, and 7 were off the hands of receivers, and those are a lot of plays that extend drives or maybe put you in the end zone. So they've definitely cured that problem.
Well, I mean, Ricky Foggy didn't have the best of games either. I mean, there were some catches that if it hit your hands, I know the old philosophy, hit your hands, you should catch it, but there were some times that Ricky Foggy threw the ball last week that were skippers or not catchable.
Well, they're just wrapping up the Hall of Fame proceedings here at Ivor Wynn, and when we come back, we'll be set for the third quarter between the Stamps and the Cats. Well, Wally Bono could make some history today, looking for his 100th CFL win, and some of the Hall of Famers being introduced. Sam Echeverry, Russ Jackson, a couple of the great quarterbacks in CFL history are here today.
How about the proceedings? How about the great tie? We see Russ Jackson. How about the great tie? The kids on the field leading the stars of yesteryear onto the field, and a great opportunity for the kids. I know it's a thrill for them to be with these great stars of the past of the CFL, for them, their chance to be here on the turf here at Ivor Wynn.
And one of the things that I like, David, is the fact that we were at the Hall of Fame dinner yesterday, and these fine gentlemen who were honored in 1963 in the Hall of Fame are now receiving proper recognition, and a beautiful ring from Jostens, and I think it's just a really beautiful thing to have them at center field, and like you say, meeting the young guys now, the future stars of the CFL.
And of course, this year going in, Junior IU, and what an ovation he got, but Rocky DiPietro a few moments ago receiving the loudest ovation, and I know, Chris, you know, we used to see Rocky year in, year out be such a star in this league. It's too bad that it wasn't a full stadium here in Hamilton to honor the great Rocky DiPietro today going into the Hall of Fame.
That is the biggest shame of it all. I mean, the weekend has been so fantastic, and we heard him speak yesterday. It was a really a beautiful thing about how he, you know, how he came up. He grew up in Hamilton, got to play for his hometown team, had a great career here. But you're right, it should be a full house. All the people of Hamilton should be here to thank him for what he's given to his community, both on and off the field.
Well, the fans that were here, though, really rose up for Rocky and everybody else that was inducted into the Hall of Fame, and the crowd wasn't a capacity crowd, but they certainly gave everybody that was here a standing ovation as they're standing for some of the stars that are on the field. And again, I can't say how much this means to these young kids to have a chance to go out on the field and be with the stars and actually be on a field where the game is played.
And of course, Hamilton is the home of the Canadian Football Hall of Fame.
I only got one. Please.
Now Rocky DiPietro, Bill Simons, Al Wilson. Nice to get the offensive lineman in there.
Never get the recognition they totally deserve. First off, they don't ever let us to touch the football, and I think that's a crime in itself. We should be able to hold the ball 30 minutes before the game just to see what it really feels like.
Let's leave it in the hands of guys like Bill Simons. Here's Mark Lee.
Bill Simons, the first star to go back over 1,000 yards in team history, one of only 3 to go over 1,000. Gil Fennerty, the last one back in '89. Wondering how you feel about this honor you received this weekend, being inducted into the Hall.
Well, this has been the highlight of the ultimate of anybody's career, I guess, and my career was over a long time ago as a football player, but it's great to be acknowledged, and you know, like the first year that I went over 1,000 yards, it was a little different because we only had 14 games. Now they have 18 games to do it, and so that's a big difference, you know. So, but it's a great Canadian game. It's too bad we're not getting the fan supports, but I don't know. You got to go with what the people want, I guess.
Bill, I want to ask you about how the game has changed when you see guys like Robert Drummond and Pinball Clemens taking what they call the long handoff, which is really a pass instead of taking the handoff.
Well, I still like the two-back system, especially at the end of the year when it gets colder and everything, and the pass has to shut down a little bit. You know, I see a back running out and not getting turned out the field and then taking the defensive back on head-on and losing the battle. I don't like that, man.
All right, Bill. Bill Simons, 5 yards in a cloud of dust football. Good to see you again.
Thank you very much.
All right, Chris.
Bill Simons, the outstanding player in the Canadian Football League in 1968.
I'll bet he's a big fan of Mike Pringles.
Yes.
There's a guy that'll turn it up and put it on a half on a defensive back.
Mark McLaughlin has it on the tee, and we are underway with the second half. Calgary Stampeders with a 10-6 lead. And here's Sam Rogers over the 30 before he is drilled back. And obviously the players were anxious to get going again as Rob Hitchcock has to be separated from a couple of the Stampeders.
There's a little extra halftime activity going on, obviously, with the Hall of Fame, and you're right, you're sitting there, you want to get going. A lot of times you don't even want to go back in the locker room. So, like, just switch hands and let's keep going.
Well, the only blemish for Calvillo in that first half was the drop football, the fumble in the final minute when it looked like the Cats were driving for more points.
Very important for him to get off to another clean start like he did in the first half. When you're struggling, things can go south in a hurry.
There's the handoff inside. Archie Emerson tripped up. Might have had a lot more, but gets up to the 30-yard line. Pickup of 8. Darrell Hall upended Emerson.
And a nice job. They bring Val St. Germain on a little counter. He pulls around from his left tackle position, comes around to the right side, and does a kick out on McClanahan. Does a nice job in the hole. Pick up some nice first yardage.
Amerson had 100 yards earlier in the year against the Toronto defense. It's ranked high in almost every category, or first in every category. This is a kid that, before he got banged up, maybe had a chance to be a Rookie of the Year.
Second and short, and Calvillo spots Mike Morreale down to the 49 of Calgary. Well, Mike Morreale, with his grandfather cheering in the crowd, is having a career day. That's his 6th catch. He's already had a better day than any other that he's had in the CFL.
Well, Urban Bowman talked about Mike Morreale's ability to give him some flexibility to change formations. He's a smart player and understands zone, and there you saw he found the crease for the zone, and a nice touch pass from Calvillo.
That is the first 100-yard game of Mike Morreale's career. He's at 103, and here's Amerson. Big hole up the middle, and now kicks it outside. Archie Amerson, and William Hampton finally gets his hands on Amerson and drills him out of bounds, but the Cats are on the move.
Just a counter play. Blaine Schmidt, Joe Burgess, big boys from the right side coming across the field, blocking out on the left side of Calgary's defensive line, open up a nice hole for Archie Amerson. And he turns it in. You can see they're blocking right there. Kick out by Burgos. Nice job reading the block. That's a nice hole. Any back likes to run through a hole that wide.
Look at Andrew Grigg working hard downfield for his running back to extend the run.
31 yards for Amerson, second longest carry of the season for him. Now they fake to Amerson. Calvillo on a roll. There's Morreale again. And Mike's down to the 5-yard line. And the Cats drive has another first down.
Chris, you mentioned the 100-yard game, first one of his career. What a time to do it. Hometown Hall of Fame game.
Watch Morreale comes inside. Now he's just going to pop back to the outside. Eddie Davison released him. Now he's got to come up and make the play. But Morreale's a smart player, understands coverage. And Calvillo's doing a great job of getting the football. He realizes this guy has a touch for getting in the zones, and he's finding him.
7 catches, 120 yards. Morreale goes to the bench. Huge ovation from the fans in behind the Cat bench. First and goal from the 5. 3 backs. Amerson the carry, and Archie Amerson down to the 1. Ernie Brown there on the tackle for the Stampeders.
And I like what Hamilton's doing right now. They're running the ball wide. They're running the ball up the middle. They're throwing the ball wide. They're throwing the ball up the middle. They're really mixing it up. They're really causing some confusion on the defensive side of the line for Calgary.
Second and goal. They call it the 2. Calvillo, like a mix-up, drops the ball. And Calgary's going to pick it up. That's Anthony McClanahan with the ball at the 26-yard line. And Anthony Calvillo has lost the handle once again. And the Cats keep shooting themselves in the foot.
And there is a total look of disgust of these O-linemen and these, I mean, they're a team. This is a team game. But they bust their heinies to get all the way down to scoring zone on the 2-yard line. To have Calvillo try a little naked bootleg, trying to fool the defense, gets caught, has to scramble, and then he drops the ball.
Was it a naked bootleg, or was there a breakdown, Dave?
Well, nobody was looking for the throw, so I'm not sure what Calvillo had going, but throw the ball. If you're going to throw the ball there and you're in a bad situation, throw it out of the end zone.
Melvin Anderson. And he stopped at the line of scrimmage.
And getting back to that, he was in trouble, Chris. And as soon as you realize as a quarterback you're in trouble, airmail it out of bounds and keep yourself, maybe have the chance to go for it on 3rd down.
And I also believe when things are working, stick with what's working. Don't try and improvise and do things that are a little too tricky. Pull a play out of the playbook like that. It costs them.
Boy, 3 missed field goals, and now twice in Calgary territory. They fumbled the ball away. 2nd down, Stampeders. And Garcia dumps it off. Here's Anderson. And he's brought down, looks like a yard shy of the 1st down. K.D. Williams there with Willie Whitehead. So much was going right on the drive.
I've never seen a guy plagued as much as this guy's been plagued with mistakes like he's made. The fumbles, there's no way to explain that. He's just dropping the football. He's not taking care of the football.
And you can see his anger on the bench. He's not mad at anybody but himself. He knows he's better than that, and he's just frustrated right now. He can't understand. He's looking to the heavens. What else can go wrong? Dave, you play quarterback. Have you ever had a situation like that, as where inadvertently maybe you're throwing and you're dropping? I mean,
well, my first start of my career did, but Mark Lee has played quarterback. I think he's wanting to talk to us down on the sidelines. Mark Lee?
Well, Chris, Anthony Calvillo is getting encouragement from Ricky Foggy and Ken Rivera, but he's shouting over and over again here, what else can go wrong? What else can go wrong?
Well, they may have something go right here. Garcia on 3rd and a yard, and there wasn't much of a surge there. Calvin Tiggle, Joe Montfort in the pile, drilling the quarterback.
Well, this will have to
get it back again.
This will have to be a generous spot, because I don't think he got a lot of surge on this play.
If you can see what Mike Campbell did, and one of the techniques that defensive linemen like to use is called a roll technique, and what he does is he doesn't try and take the offensive lineman on. He'll try and roll underneath him and just plug the hole. And you can see Munford's doing it right here. All they're trying to do, it's like bowling, knock the legs out of the big pins.
And they just get the first down.
I'll tell you what, Jake had to pull out his credit card to determine if there was actually any air between the ball and the pole, or that was very close, much closer than Wally Buono wanted it to be.
I like the way Archer answered your question. He never had any trouble fumbling the ball, and then immediately tossed it over to Mark Lee. I saw him play at Carleton, and he probably did have a day or two like Calvillo's having. Boy, this Ticat defense, though, remains fired up. Kelvin Anderson, short yardage. Mike Campbell there again, and it's amazing how these guys have stayed so resilient on defense.
They really have, and they're playing so well. I mean, it's got to be frustrating when your offense keeps putting you on the field. They keep turning the ball over in inopportune times, but they respond by saying, even though we're a team, we're a separate entity of the team, we're going to do our part to win this football game.
2nd and 9 now after a 1-yard Anderson pickup. Campbell out of the game. Sam Rogers in as the extra defensive back. And here's a pick, Calvin Tiggle. 2nd interception thrown by Garcia. And this Ticat defense has done it again. And now, can the offense finally capitalize? Celebration in black and gold as Garcia heads to the sidelines after his 2nd interception of the football game.
Well, Calvin Tiggle is a guy that says, I need to stay excited, I need to make plays, just have a good time on the field. And watch Calvin Tiggle step up here. Ball poorly thrown by Jeff Garcia, well behind the receiver.
His first interception of the year. And now Calvillo looking to make amends, throws over the head of the intended receiver, Prince Wimbley.
Well, they're so starved to get the ball in the end zone, they're trying to find anything to take a shot, as Calvin Tiggle has put his team in position again. And Jeff Garcia has only himself to blame there. He had Danielson open, just didn't get him the football. But AC's trying to stick the ball in the end zone. He waits. He's got Prince Wimbley down the field, and the defense is getting to him, but he's trying to force something, make something happen.
2nd and 10. Here comes the blitz of Darrell Hall. Calvillo scrambles out, and he'll be pulled down near the 20-yard line. Gain of 5. Bronzell Miller there. And it's 3rd down, and Anthony Calvillo's been wearing some goat horns, and so is Paul Osbaldiston, who will come on to try and get some points.
Well, what I don't like there, Chris, and I'm talking about Chris Walby now, he didn't put his line up to bat there. They ran the football well in the first series. Why wouldn't you let the line get
One of the most frustrating things as an O-lineman playing in this league is the fact that you're right, you get it down there, you're hammering it down their throats, you're successful at it, and then you come in a scoring position and all they want to do is throw it. Bam, bam, and as you said, he tried to force 2 throws, got a little pressure on the second one. They were bringing everybody. That's when you do want to run it. If you get a crack in that seam, there's nobody in the second wall defense.
Somebody from the defense may have to go out and try one of these kicks, because Paul Osbaldiston is having a nightmare. Another miss. Nowhere to hide right now at Ivor Wynn for Paul Osbaldiston, who has missed from 27, 31, 33, and 40 yards today. 1 for 5, and his team fittingly is trailing by a field goal. Calgary takes over at the 35. Kelvin Anderson, and he is upended a yard beyond the line of scrimmage. The man who made the interception on the last series, Calvin Tiggle, the middle linebacker. What a core of linebackers this is.
This could be the best core of linebackers Hamilton's had in a number of years. The last guy I remember in the middle being this tough was Ben Zambiazzi, who could knock heads with the best of them. And they got a great crew. They got speed, they got strength, and they got smarts.
2nd and 9. Garcia scrambling and threw behind Terry Vaughn, incomplete. Flagged down in the Cat secondary.
And they're playing so well, this would break, it will really kill them if, as well as they're playing in the front 7, to have, as you say, when Garcia starts scrambling, to take interference penalties down the field.
Jeff Garcia yesterday. Well, if I read lips right, 28, did he say?
Frank West. Calling for pass interference, illegal contact.
46-yard line. It's a first down. I know yesterday Jeff Garcia talked about the great athletes on defense, and there was concern. He certainly wasn't acting like he was playing a 1-10 team. And Garcia drills that one into the turf at the feet of Kelvin Anderson.
What I see Jeff Garcia doing a lot right now is throwing the ball off his back foot. He's not set and standing and throwing the ball. Subsequently, a lot of balls are weakly thrown. The interception Calvin Tiggle made was a ball that was floating and thrown behind the receiver. It meant he was falling back and not putting anything on the ball. He's not stepping and throwing. He's had a few shots. He's had a little bit of a rush. He really hasn't stepped. He's not stepping in and throwing the ball like Jeff Garcia can.
Is that because of the pressure?
No question. Like I said, he's had people around his feet. I think he needs to step up and throw it.
2nd and 10. Danielson open over the middle, and he catches it. And into Hamilton territory, Vince Danielson, the man who leads the Calgary Stampeders in receiving, has a first down. Gerald Vaughn pulling him down. That's just the first catch of the game. Big Vince Danielson.
He just comes across the middle right now, and Gerald Vaughn's trying to stay with him. He's trailing him. Quick pass, quick touch, a little bit of a timing pattern. Find the open spot and throw it.
Danielson 8 catches last week for 93 yards against Saskatchewan. He's had 3 8-catch games on the year. Just one so far today. Here's Anderson. And Campbell and company, and drilled back, short yardage. Here's Mark.
Well, Chris, further to the field goal situation here for the Ticats, I just talked to Urban Bowman about alternatives. Lee Knight is usually the backup to Paulus Balderson. Of course, he's out for the season with a knee injury. The 3rd string kicker is Andrew Grigg, but he's not a possibility because Urban says he hasn't kicked in 20 weeks, so he's sticking with us Balderson, who continues to talk to himself in the dugout.
Yeah, the other problem, too, is Andrew Grigg's the holder. that really would be a circus act.
Drop kick.
2nd and 6. Play action, Garcia to Pitts, incomplete. In coverage, Eric Carter, the former All-Canadian.
And Eric Carter did a great job there, Chris. He's hand fighting with Alan Pitts. These are 2 top-notch players in this league, and Carter wins this battle. Whenever you have 2 guys battling each other, there's always a chance that one of them's going to get flagged for pushing off. Got to hold the jersey a little bit, but that's pretty tight coverage. I like the way he's playing out there.
Well, the defense goes to the bench, and they get a huge ovation from those loud fans in Section 8. Martino kicks it away. Rogers in the end zone will put down the knee and concede a single. So it's now a 4-point Calgary lead after the 53-yard single by Tony Martino. There's the time remaining in the 3rd quarter. Stampeders hanging on to a slim lead in a game dominated by the home side. Next Sunday on the CFL on CBC, we'll be back at Winnipeg Stadium, where the Blue Bombers, who have looked good in recent weeks, except for their game against the Argos, will take on Toronto.
And TSN Friday Night Football will be in BC. Hamilton Ticats come to town.
Up back to the ground they go to Archie Amerson to the 37-yard line.
And CFL fans that are watching right now should stay tuned on TSN later on. Mike Pringle and his Alouettes go into Saskatchewan for a tilt.
And the Riders hoping to do what the Stampeders are trying to achieve today, take advantage of losses by Edmonton and BC already this weekend. Classic game last night. The Argos prevailing by a point in Edmonton. Winnipeg with their upset win over BC. Here's an interception. Big Alondra Johnson faked the little toss, now drops it, and Eddie Davis picks it up. So the interception by Anthony Calvillo, another turnover for Hamilton as it goes from bad to worse for the Ticat offense, and AJ has a pick. Middle linebackers exchanging interceptions in the second half.
Well, what happens in this situation, this offense has moved the football pretty well today. He makes a bad decision here trying to get the ball to Morreale, and AJ acts like an option quarterback there. He looked like J.C. Watts back at Oklahoma, but this is something that they have not been able to cash in their opportunities. Suddenly you start trying to force some things downfield to compensate for the missed field goals, and things go awry.
Dave Dickinson had been warming up on the Stampeders sidelines, but Garcia remains in. And here's Travis Moore, and he is drilled by Philbrick. Steinauer's there, and they don't allow him to get past the 20.
Just a little hitch pass, trying to get him behind those big offensive linemen. Read well by Hamilton. They get it. You can see Mike Philbrick at the end of the play a little upset, flinging the ball out of his hands. They're a little frustrated now. They've been playing so well, and the offense just keeps putting them in terrible position.
Well, this is an important situation right here for the defense. They need to rise up again like they have all year long, because this game is very much in doubt.
Second down and 5. The ball spotted at the 18-yard line. Garcia with time has Pitts open in the end zone. Touchdown. Alan Pitts has the major score on the 18-yard toss from Jeff Garcia. So it only takes 2 plays after the Alondra Johnson interception.
Well, K.D. Williams is kicking himself a little bit on this play because they zone blitzed. They brought Rob Hitchcock on the blitz, and K.D. Williams was supposed to replace him deep. And Pitts runs right by K.D. Williams right there, and nobody behind Frank West to help him out. And this is an easy score.
You're right, Dave, and the biggest thing was K.D., and one of the things about K.D. is he likes to freelance, do his own thing. He was spying the quarterback, trying to read his eyes, thought he was going to go the other way, went the wrong way. Alan Pitts wide open, easy score.
Fred, hey, representing. Scout Team All-Stars right here, baby. I'm representing for you.
Alan Pitts, 4th touchdown of the year, 4th catch of the game.
You can see Mr. Williams sitting there, and after Pitts runs by him, he's expecting the corner and a half to cover for him right now, and they're not in their proper position to do that. You can see West trying to get over there. He's expecting K.D. Williams to be over there.
Oh, one of the all-time greats, fittingly on Hall of Fame weekend here in Hamilton. A future Hall of Famer, Alan Pitts, scores a touchdown. That's his 85th career major for the Calgary Stampeders.
He's 4th all-time in just about every category in this league, and climbing the ladder. What a great player he is, and no question he'll be a Hall of Famer. And KD realizes he made a mistake because he just stood there and stared at the ground. He realized he was supposed to be over top of Frank West to stop Alan Pitts from catching that touchdown.
18-7, the Stampeders have opened up their biggest lead of the game. Here's Jourdain. And he is drilled. Big hit there by Jason Clement, the Hamilton native. A reserve linebacker for the Stampeders. Nails Jourdain. Well, I don't want to pick on the guy, but the margin is 11, and Oz has missed 4 field goals.
Well, the scorekeeper's not doing any. The guy running the scoreboard's not doing anything for Hamilton right now. It's just 34-7 on the scoreboard, and it's not that bad right now.
Nope, not nearly that bad.
Well, there's nothing those guys running down the kickoff like better than for that returner to get elevated so they can light him up, and that's exactly what Clement did there.
Well, Anthony Calvillo, a couple of fumbles, and now coming off an interception on his last toss. Throws it out in the flat, and there's Andrew Grigg trying to get away from William Hampton. And Grigg has a first down in his 3rd catch of the game.
Really impressed with the way Andrew Grigg has played today. Climbed the ladder and made a catch earlier in the game for Calvillo. And this time, He makes a little hitch catch, and then he makes a nice little move and gets around William Hampton, who's got some good speed out on the corner. Andrew playing a solid game today, outside receiver.
3 minutes to go, third quarter, and the message really is for this offense, this game is not out of reach yet, even though they've let it slip away a bit here in this third quarter. Amerson. And Amerson, big hole. Archie Amerson running to daylight, and John Kalin won't catch him. Touchdown, Archie Amerson. Cats are right back in it. 64 yards for Archie Amerson.
And we talked about this earlier. Dave alluded to the fact that when the running game is working and they were down in scoring position, stay with the running game. This is a great call by Cavillo. It's just a counter play. You're pulling the right tackle and your right guard around. You're kicking out on the left side of Calgary's defensive line. They do a great job. Burgos and Schmidt of opening a fantastic hole, and Amerson with his speed busts through there and takes it all the way for the touchdown.
Well, before Archie Amerson got hurt earlier in the year, I really thought he had a chance to maybe be a Rookie of the Year in this league. He's one of the youngsters that's part of this team that's a very young ball club, and Archie sticks one in the end zone.
And one thing about Amerson, when he played last year, he won the Walter Payton Award. He was a top NCAA Division I player. He rushed for over 2,000 yards in one season.
Yeah. And the Walter Payton Award is the equivalent of the Heisman Trophy in 1AA.
You got both guys pulling. You got Burgess and Schmidt. Schmidt is the guard. He's the lead block. Burgess's job is to read. Burgess's job is to read Schmidt's block, cut it inside or outside. Does a nice job of cutting it inside. Amerson's not stupid. Stay on the tackle. He stays on the big tackle's butt right there and up. And with his speed, he's gone.
Scores 18-13 with the convert to come to you. If you look at a 2-point convert in this type of situation. Paul Osbaldiston sprinted over to the bench, and now comes back out.
He might have been the guy asking, do you want to go for two here?
This might be a confidence builder for him right here, because he wants to get it between those uprights.
And they are going to fake it. Osbaldiston is the man in the pattern, and Osbaldiston drops the ball. Or did Eddie Davis make the play defensively? Well, it was worth the gamble going for two.
You gotta like Hamilton, what they're doing today. I mean, they're giving the fans a great game, both offensively and defensively. Now they're pulling a few tricks out of the special team book. Ozzie was hoping to make the catch. He could still go home a hero.
I think Oz made that call, too. He went to the bench while they were attending to McClanahan.
Yeah, but I'd like to see a better effort out of Oz. You got to knock the DB down or something. You got to catch this football. This would have put him right back in good graces with this crowd. A super throw by Andrew Grigg on the play, and Ozzie just couldn't make the play.
Well, he was the 100-meter sprint champion in his school back in '47.
Well, you see Archie Amerson, and he's over talking to the right people. That's the offensive line, slapping guys on the hands. Those are the guys that created the play for him. And once Archie got in the secondary, this is what, as Chris Walby said, he did all last year when he was in college. Walter Payton Award winner, over 2,000 yards rushing, and he brings a little something of a real nuance of his own. He dives in the crowd here at Iberwin.
Archie Amerson, the 64-yard run, takes him over 100. He's got 122 on the afternoon.
And the big thing is last week when they played Toronto, he carried the ball 4 times for 2 yards. You're not going to win many games like that.
Here's Marvin Coleman. Flags are flying as Coleman gets up to the 35, and we'll check in with Mark Lee.
Well, Chris, standing here on the Ticat bench, I'm totally amazed at the resolve of this football team. Here they are, 1-11. They've had so many bad luck situations, whether it's Ozzie, whether it's Calvillo, whether it's that bungled 2-point convert. Lamar McGriggs turned to me after that and he said, what do we have to do? But he said it with a smile. Every time something goes wrong on this Ticat bench, nobody hangs their head. Somebody pumps up somebody else. The emotion here is amazing. The spirit has not been broken on this young football team.
You know, there's not that many holdovers on this team, but they went through this a couple of years ago where they lost 6 or 7 games in the fourth quarter, blowing leads, and it was a hard luck team when Don Southern took it over. And They still haven't shed all the bad luck. Now the crowd urging the defense to come up big again as Garcia hands it off. Kelvin Anderson right side, pulled down, and there's Lamar McGriggs. Katie Williams was there too.
Nice job by the Hamilton linebackers again, reading the play and then getting over there quick enough, and with their athletic ability, being able to grab them.
All you have to do is give this defense a taste of some offense, and they're even going to elevate higher than they're playing right now. I mean, this defense has played strong all year long and really had no help on the other side of the ball. But if you show them you can put some points on the board, they can be very nasty.
Well, they've held teams to under 300 yards total offense 5 times this year. 2nd and 6, Garcia. Time to throw, finds Anderson, who drops the ball. Took a look and saw Orlando Steinauer bearing down on him. And crowd on its feet for the defense.
And you gotta like the fact that even though Calvin Anderson didn't make the catch, Orlando Steinauer says, hey, I ran all the way over here. Now I'm gonna give you a pop.
Well, once again, the defense is received by their fans with standing O, and deservedly so. They've played a solid ball game all afternoon, and as Chris Walby said, Steinauer is going to come in and put one in for the team right here, and he's lucky probably he didn't get called for roughing right there, but a nice pop from Orlando Steinauer.
Rogers awaits the punt. At his 50, Rogers trying to get outside, and he loses some yards, and drilled out of bounds back at the 44, 38-yard punt. Chris Lewis finished Rogers off.
Well, he's lost several yards on the return, and that's something they didn't need to have happen.
And a coach will tell a returner, when you get the ball, go north and south, don't go east and west. You see Katie and Lamar McGriggs. They hang around off the field as well as on the field. Good buddies. They're pretty excited about the way things are going so far today.
Dennis McPhee, linebacker coach, and he likes what he's seen today as McGriggs and Williams have really gelled in that Hamilton defense. 18-13, Stamps lead. We're in the final minute of the 3rd quarter. And play action to Emerson. Calvillo in trouble, and down he goes. Looks like he got back to the original line of scrimmage where Jermaine Miles finished him off.
Now they're going for the home run. They had two receivers going vertical down the field for Calvillo after the play fake, and neither one was open. And in that situation, you like as a quarterback to have a dump off built in, a little check down for him, and his back was swinging to the weak side. He just never got his eyes back to Archie Amerson.
2nd and 10 on what should be the final play of quarter number 3. And Calvillo looking for a Shonda Smith has him at the 45 of Calgary. William Hampton arguing the call, but it is a first down for the Ticats. Final play of the 3rd quarter. Cats down by 5, but still very much in it against Wally Buono's Stampeders. It's the kind of game that'll give coaches gray hairs, that's for sure. I'm sure Wally Buono and Urban Bowman not really enjoying what they've seen, but it has turned out to be the mix of an entertaining football game. And through 45 minutes, here's how they stack up.
Well, the stats are glaring in behalf of the defense that's playing in the black and gold right now. They've played tremendous all day long, created havoc in the backfield and limiting the opportunities for the Calgary offense.
There's the touchdown pass to Alan Pitts that put the Stampeders up big, and then Archie Amerson answers right back with a 64-yard rumble. And now it's Ganel Jourdain down to the 38, gain of close to 7 for the Ticats on first down. That's the first time Jourdain has carried the football, and Anthony McClanahan, who came into the game with a tender knee, is down for the 2nd time in the afternoon.
And looks to be in some pain, and anytime you get any kind of knee injury, you got to really worry about it because you got your ligaments and cartilage. And anybody that's ever played on this kind of turf or any turf, when you're smashing your knee on this stuff, it's like hitting a wall. Go outside in your driveway and drop your knee on your driveway a couple times, and you'll feel what it's like.
Well, with McClanahan injured, Raymond Biggs will probably replace McClanahan. He's been, like Chris Cuthbert said, he's been nursing the knee, and Londra Johnson just whipped him, leg whipped him, came in with the body and caught the knees of McClanahan. And
another icing down the left knee of Anthony McClanahan as Ray Biggs has checked into the game.
That must be the most conservative I've seen Anthony's hair. He's usually painted up pretty good.
He heard you were here and didn't want to take anything away from you. There's Junior Ayu, a very close friend of Wally Bono's, on the sidelines near the Calgary bench. Here's Amerson, and Archie Amerson to the 35 will be close to the first down. Archie Amerson doesn't pick his spots. His only 100-yard game prior to today was against the #1 rush defense of the Toronto Argonauts, and today against the #2 ranked rush defense of Calgary, Amerson has another 100-yard game.
oh, super block by Jourdain. Come out and get the outside leg of Biggs, who came in for McClanahan, allowed Amerson to get outside.
3rd down and inches, and Calvillo plunging forward should move the sticks.
And one of the things that Hamilton is really doing nice is they're running the ball well. And it's like, Dave, you mentioned earlier, when you run the ball out, you get the rhythm of the running back, the offensive line, but also the fullback. And as you can see on that last play, Jourdain's starting to get a feel. It's his first game. He's getting a feel of who he has to block on certain plays, and he does a great job on Raymond Biggs on the last play.
And it is a 1st down. This is a team that has averaged 84 yards per game on the ground this season. And so far this afternoon, 153 yards rushing. And again, this is the 2nd best rush defense in the league. So a big turnaround for the Cats. 1st down to Calvillo, to Jourdain, swinging out of the backfield. Ray Biggs missed the tackle. But it was Marvin Coleman moving up to make the stop on Jourdain. Here again, Mark Lee.
Chris, here's the update from the Stampeder bench. You see the towel is over the head of Anthony McClanahan. His game is over. He has a bruised left knee. It's a recurrence of an earlier injury, and so he'll sit out the remainder of this 4th quarter upon further investigation.
It's a new version of throwing in the towel. You're done once the towel goes over the head. Hope it's not too serious. McClanahan, a key man back there, 7th in the CFL in tackles, and don't tell me, he dropped the ball again. Dave, we chatted with him about the Montreal fiasco, a game where he just kept dropping it. He said they were rubbing the footballs with something that made them slippery. What's going on?
I wish I could tell you, Chris. I have no clue. He's played a solid game today. He's just dropped the football a couple times when in a very bad situations. That time he decided to skate outside. As he drops back, he makes the fake to Jourdain. Jourdain makes a great block to allow him some time, and now he's got some room to run. He actually probably could have picked up the 1st down there because they blitzed that right side of the defense, and he just can't hang on to the football.
He's dropped it 12 times this year. And from Calvillo's drops to Osbaldiston's. And there's a shank. Coleman. Stopped at the 6-yard line by Dean Noel.
Well, not only is he missing and hooking and shanking and pushing, and I don't know what other adjective we could use for the field goal, but now he's not getting any height. That ball was a line drive. He's lucky he didn't put it right into the backside of one of his offensive linemen. They might have to get it surgically removed. But
what you're seeing is a football version of my driving exploits on an average day.
Well, I think you got to, as the coach, Urban Bowman, as we see the attempt here, and it's a good hold, and you see the tilt there. The reason the tilt's there is a holder. A kicker likes the ball tilted in a certain way. He's gotten with Andrew Grigg, that's the way he likes the ball tilted, so that's not what made the kick go awry. But Urban Bowman's got to think about maybe going for it on 3rd down now down in the scoring zone.
Ticats have Calgary backed up. Pitts running into traffic. Takes it to the 14-yard line, gain of 7. I mean, that was such a poor attempt by Osbaldiston. I reserved judgment, thinking maybe somebody got a hand on it at the line.
Well, it did look like it got deflected. And we're up here in the booth, and you can almost hear that sound of leather flapping. And you just got to wonder what he's going to do to get out of this funk, because he's fighting the ball big time right
now. Second down and a couple for Garcia. And Garcia in trouble, throws it complete to Travis Moore, who hung on in traffic. Calgary moves the sticks. Let's have one more look at that hold of Andrew Griggs.
Andrew Griggs is very good at what he does. Holders are very important for the kicker. They get to know one another. You see the little tilt there? That's a clean hold. The only thing Andrew didn't do is maybe rotate the threads towards the goalpost, which is where kickers like to have them, but that's not what made him miss the kick. He just mishit it.
Frank West has been shaken up on that last collision with Alan Pitts.
But I really think that Urban Bowman now has to consider going for it whenever he gets inside the 40-yard line. Now, I know it was a 45-yard kick, but they were at about the 38, 37-yard line. Got to think about going for it from here on out.
You're absolutely right about that.
Back in Hamilton, and I just had a word with Ticat head coach Urban Bowman. He has confirmed he will consider going for it in third down situations depending on the ball's placement on the field. So he is now considering aborting any future field goal attempts.
See, Mark was thinking the same thing I was. He was over there in Urban Bowman's ear thinking about, hey, you guys got to start going for this. And that's an old quarterback thinking over there. See, he wants another down. Mark Lee played quarterback in college. He understands those situations.
You guys stick together. Unbelievable.
Oh, and he's getting fed information over there by Kenny and Ferrer. See, Kenny's over there standing there feeding him info.
Well, Frank West now just getting to his feet. That'll bring Sam Rogers in to replace West, who was playing at the linebacker spot until the acquisition of Lamar McGregor and K.D. Williams. Then he moved back to defensive half. And there's Sam Rogers ready to take his spot. Rogers cut in the preseason after a couple of years in the starting lineup of the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
And he's a return man more than he is anything else. Not really not a solid defensive back like Frank West. It's something that he just hasn't acquired the taste for, of being a good cover guy. But this becomes a very difficult situation now in the secondary, because Kenny Wilhite was hurt last week, one of their top defenders, with a knee injury, and Kenny is going to have that knee operated on next week here in Hamilton. But now they start getting a little thin in the secondary.
And their coverages and their communication is a big key, Dave. And you're right. I mean, he was released in training camp for that reason, the fact that he was not covering the man as well as he should have. He was a great special team guy as far as returning punts, but he's going to be tossed in the fray right now.
It's a 5-point Calgary lead. They have a first down at their own 21-yard line with 10 minutes, 10 seconds to go, and a pass just out of the reach of big Vince Danielson. That brings up second down. And I know yesterday Jeff Garcia talked about wanting to make more of his own play calls. He found that he wasn't getting in a good offensive rhythm, and we haven't seen any real rhythm to the Calgary offense this afternoon.
I think the only time he's turned loose as far as calling his own plays is in the no-huddle situation. Everything else is being called for him.
Mike Campbell has gone out on 2nd and 10. Now the extra DB is Kyle Walters, the rookie out of Guelph. Big play for the Stampeders offense. Underneath Vaughn, drilled at the 25 by Steinauer. And that'll be well short of the first down.
Orlando Steinauer has been the most consistent defender in the secondary for Hamilton all year long. He has 5 interceptions, second in the league, but he has played his man extremely well. In fact, they've gotten to the point where they don't really pick on him much. They've gone over to Eric Carter, who's an all-CFL corner.
And he was mentioning before the game that he wanted to get some balls thrown to him, so he had a chance to get some picks.
It's been 6 games since Steinauer pulled one in. Tony Martino. And there's Rogers back at his 34. Rogers looking for a crease, and there's not one there after a 51-yard punt by Tony Martino. Here's Mark Lee.
Chris, the Ticat team doctor is looking at Frank West and shielding our shot of this. It appears West has an eye injury. That's the early prognosis right now, that his eye was injured on the play. Canterbury told me that West also took a shot in the head in practice just the other day. So we'll see the later we go here what the prognosis will be.
You're right. Canterbury is beating him down there.
I told you, he's over there by Canterbury getting information.
Well, LeBreur's backing up Mike Moriali, who's having a career day, so he's had time to help Mark out. Here's Amerson, and boy, Amerson is puck down there across the 40-yard line.
Well, how about that nice little move by Archie Amerson? Made Al Jordan whiff in the backfield on him, just left him laying in the backfield. Watch Archie Amerson now going to take the handoff out of the shotgun from Calvillo, and again the counterplay, Chris, and right there just made Jordan miss.
And they've been running it successfully. They've been only running it from the right side to the left, and they continue to do so, and they're picking up good yardage.
2nd and 4. Play action, the fake to Amerson, and now Calvillo. Spot Jourdain, nailed by Coleman, but it's another Hamilton first down at the 50-yard line.
And I like the fact that they're doing a little play action right now. They were trying to run some fake counters before. They weren't working very well as far as the pass. Do a little play action, suck the linebackers up tight to the line. Bam, and a nice hit.
You know, that's 5'9" Marvin Coleman. He weighs 170 pounds. He's laying out the leather down there.
Jourdain over 200 pounds, and here's Amerson again. Look at him kick it out a little bit with that sidestep. Coleman the tackle, but Amerson now up to over 140 yards on the day.
If this kid can stay healthy, you're looking at one of the new stars of the league. He played very well early in the year, had a 100-yard rushing day against Toronto, as we said early in the season. He has the abilities to make people miss. And when he gets in the open field, we've seen already, he goes the distance.
And this running game, Chris, has got to help Anthony Calvillo and the whole passing attack.
Big time. When you run the ball this much, you're pulling the linebackers up. And on that particular play, Tim Princeton, the rookie out of UND, does a great job of getting a great block on Alondra Johnson.
Well, they've doubled the Calgary totals in the rushing department. First down. Calvillo running it himself and sliding down at the 41. And he may have left his imprint on the handprints on that football to make sure he didn't drop it.
I'm sure he wrapped that one up pretty well, but you saw the play action. We talked about play action, getting different things involved in your attack. He play action that time to Archie Amerson, and all three of the Calgary linebackers stepped up. I always believed playing against Calgary that play action was very good because their linebackers are so aggressive.
Under 7 minutes to play, fourth quarter. Ticats trailing by 5. Second and short. There's that little option toss, and Amerson spinning it down to the 35. The line goes down, however. Mike Moriali was out in front, and there will be a holding call. Not sure if it's against big number 18 or not.
Well, if it is a holding call, the one thing I don't like about it is that they call it so late. It's almost like the coach, Wally Buono's yelling.
Holding. Hamilton, number 18. Repeat second down.
Now, he may have had the holding penalty on the play, but the referee did not throw the flag until Wally Buono got in his ear and started yelling for a holding penalty. You saw the flag come out.
There is no question that this was holding.
I'm not saying it was.
He almost ripped Eddie Davis's jersey off.
Listen, they had two-step music on. My biggest thing is that if a referee is going to throw the flag, throw it now. Don't wait and don't be influenced by the crowd or the coach. That just drives me crazy.
For those of you that don't know at home, Chris Walby did play on the offensive line.
Yes, a history-making comment. Walby questioning a holding call.
There you go.
Instead, second and 12. Rush on. Calvillo underneath. That's a catch from Wembley at the 45. And now here we go. 3rd and 5. 52-yard field goal attempt or do you just go for it? Or do you punt the football away, pin them deep?
No, I think you punt the football here. Your defense has played so well today. Punt the ball, pin them. There's enough time in the game, 6 minutes to go in the game. Punt the ball. Hope your defense comes out and plays as well as they played all day long.
Now, if it was 5 yards deeper, if the 40-yard line, would that have altered the decision?
If you were going to consider kicking a field goal, now you think about going. There was no consideration to kick a field goal here because it was a 52-yarder into the wind.
Low snap. Good kick. Coleman's going to let it bounce in the end zone. It may kick back out of the end zone. As Balnison trying to get down there, and now Marvin Coleman will try to kill some of the clock. Steps out with 5:52 to go, and it's a 48-yard single, and it's 18-14 Calgary.
.552 to go in the ball game, and it's a 4-point Calgary lead here at Ivor-Wynne Stadium in the Ticat bench area. That's Frank West putting ice on his right eye. The latest diagnosis is that he has a contusion over the eye, and his pupil will not dilate, so he has problems seeing. He'll be out until that changes.
And Sam Rogers in his place. There are the numbers for Garcia. These two teams will meet again on Thanksgiving Monday on CBC. Rush on Garcia, dumps it off. Kelvin Anderson across the 40. P.D. Williams hanging on as Anderson gets close to 8 yards.
And like you were talking about earlier, Dave, Garcia's back there looking for his receivers. Look, can't find nothing. But what he does have on this thing is he has Anderson as his release valve. Just a little dump pass out there. It's his third look, third target.
And Kelvin has to realize how well the secondary's playing right now for Hamilton and give his... There's Joe Moss, a defensive line coach for this Ticat defense. They've been all over Garcia, but Kelvin Anderson has to realize that his quarterback has been under some pressure. Give him some outlets.
Kelvin Anderson lines up as the wideout to the right side, 2nd and 2. And Garcia, after bumping into the fullback, will push it across for the first down.
Well, that's all Garcia right there. You can see just before they lined up, Dwayne Ford was yelling at Farrell Duclair, the backup running back, where to line up. You can see there was some miscommunication, and he actually ran into Garcia on the handoff right here. He takes it, he's looking to pump it into his, he runs right into him. He's lucky he didn't fumble the ball, and then pure athletic ability gets him the first down.
Well, he tried to give the ball to Duclair. Was that Duclair?
Yep.
Dwayne Ford, he's trying to get the football. He hadn't even touched the football today.
Under 4.5 to go. First down, Calgary. Garcia pumps once. Now he looks deep. There's Pitts, but it's picked off. Rob Hitchcock stepped in front of Alan Pitts, and the Ticat safety has the interception, his 3rd of the year.
Well, Jeff's frustrated, and so is Danny Barrett. Danny Barrett just threw his hat on the ground after the throw, and just a poor read by Jeff. The free safety never left the middle of the field, Rob Hitchcock, and you can't throw the ball up in the air like that if your safety's in the middle of the field. It's got to be on a line and early. And Pitts is going to run the seam route, and Hitchcock just sitting on it. You see Pitts is going to get right up the seam now. He's expecting the ball early. The ball's thrown high in the air, kind of fluffed in the air, and late. Hitchcock makes the play.
Jeff Garcia had thrown only 8 in the first 12 games, 3 today. Now Calvillo in trouble. Nice little move by Calvillo to get across the 35 and get a couple of yards, maybe 3. As another Hamilton native celebrates.
Hey, Catherine, what's up? Love you, baby.
Hitch has got 3 interceptions this year, and his first career interception was against me right here at Ivor-Wynne, the first game of the season last year. So it's good to know that he can pick somebody else off other than me. But he just was a punt returner there because that was thrown right to him.
You had to work for yours, right?
Yeah, he really had to struggle with mine.
2nd down, Andrew Grigg. He's got the catch at the 46, and that's a first down. And Grigg has had a productive afternoon. His first start at the wide-out position, and I think Rocky DiPietro would be impressed.
Does a nice job. He gets great protection again. That's what you want out of your offensive line. He does a great job, throws a nice catch, puts it on a rope where only Griggs can catch it. First down, Hamilton.
Well, it's been a great day for Anthony Calvillo in the passing department.
Yeah, I think if he just gets some flypaper on his hands when he starts to run, he would be fine. He's really done a great job throwing the football. And you talk about receiver skills, here's Andrew Grigg. You have to catch the ball, but you also need to bluff a few. That one skipped, but Andrew got up on his back, and the referee gave it to him.
Here's Calvillo over the middle, and Shonday Smith is down to the 32-yard line. Al Jordan finally pulled him down. Calvillo's over 300 and more now.
He does a great job. Again, gets great protection, and he's still going back to that fake counter look with Emerson. He fakes the handoff to him, sits in the pocket. He's got a guy coming right into the middle, throws it right on him, and with his speed, this guy runs a 4.340, which is very fast. Open fields like this, that's a beautiful thing to watch.
32 yards, the ball's on the 32. First down. Calvillo swings it out to Amerson. Here's Amerson, and he's forced out at the 28. 4 on that gain. Marvin Coleman, the all-Canadian cornerback, was there.
Had a little swing screen set up this time to Archie Amerson, and Calvillo does a great job of bluffing this one. He actually looks downfield, bluffs a little pump downfield, and then turns and hits Amerson, allows Princeton and St. Germain to get out in front, and they pick up a nice little game.
And now they're in 3-down territory, aren't they?
No question about it. Now you go for it. There will be no kick.
Down by 4 with 2:32 to go. 2nd and 6. Calvillo looking deep, looking for Morreale in the end zone. Flag down.
Little pass interference on Mr. Eddie Davis.
That would have been a tough catch for Mike Morreale.
Forward pass interference. Calgary number 29. First down.
And it's at the 1.
Well, what creates the pass interference is that the ball, maybe Anthony's worst throw of the day, it slipped out of his hand and kind of ballooned a little bit, and Morreale's trying to gear down to make the catch, and the contact happened well before that.
Calvillo plunging, and Anthony Calvillo, no signal from officials. Most of the Ticats say he's in.
Well, they definitely have to score from here. You can't come away from the 1-yard line with 3 cracks at it without a touchdown. It'll be unforgivable for Hamilton right now.
Well, we saw the Argos stop the Eskimos from in close last night. Didn't get there. Well, it looked like the surge had taken him in.
I really thought he got in there. That's a surprise. I thought he got it in. And it's really tough. The people that are making that call are the 2 side judge officials that are on the goal line, and they're so far away from the play, sometimes he gets caught in the mass and can't see him.
Trying to get in behind Tom Newton and Wayne Schmidt, and they'll give it to Jordan, and he didn't get there. And now, Urban Bowman's looking at the 3rd down.
Well, it's an offensive line. You got to suck it up. You got to go in that huddle and say, come on, fellas, we can knock these guys back. We're only a yard away. You can see right now, this is the battle zone. You can see Calgary's defensive line, and they're just crabbing. They're on hands and knees, just trying to plug the hole, stop the forward momentum by the offensive lineman of Hamilton.
I think Archie Amerson needs to touch the football right here.
Calvillo's bounced off and in. Touchdown.
Well, they wanted to run the option play, Chris.
That was the Mexican option. That was unbelievable.
They wanted to run the option play to Amerson to the short side of the field, and as Calvillo guns the ball into the stands, well, he threw that almost out of the stadium, but he realized things had broken down on the play and turned and just muscled his way in. I don't think that anybody was going to keep Calvillo out of the end zone there.
It looked like he was going to start doing the lambada, and then he kind of turned around and wham, he was in there, but it looked like a little miscommunication.
Yeah,
the lambada? Can you do the lambada? What is the lambada?
Lambada? Very sexy, special dance.
I wouldn't give him many marks for artistic impression, but the Cats are in the lead as Baldwin adds the extra point. 1:48 to go. And it's 21-18. The difference is a field goal.
And I love the fact that they're hugging Ozzie when he kicks a convert now. It's a beautiful thing to watch.
Well, will this be the first win for Urban Bowman as the interim head coach of the Ticats?
What's Calvillo? He's going to try it. He realizes everybody's flowing to the outside, so he does his little spin move, his little Chuck Foreman, and gets in the end zone there. But it had all been shut down. It was smelled out by the defense. They realized they were going to try to go outside, and you see him just sneak the ball across the goal line.
Took 3 tries, and they just barely got it in, but nobody's counting that now. Just the 7 points on the board. Boy, what an afternoon. If it is Urban Bowman's first win, he'll have earned it in the suffering that went with it.
This is a super drive by Calvillo. He used everybody. Amerson, he used Grigg, used himself on several occasions.
Big catch by Ashande Smith. Pass interference call on Moriali. And now it's in the defense's hands. Marvin Coleman. And look at Coleman find a crease. And he is already back into Hamilton territory.
And how many times have you seen that? You do a nice drive, you march it all the way down, you score. The next kickoff, they return it 50 or 40 yards on you. It just drives you crazy.
Well, Jeff Garcia is in great position here to try to cash in, but they only need a field goal to tie it. But as Mark McLaughlin stays loose for the minute 40, but a terrible kickoff. Coleman feels it at the 30-yard line, and he kicked the ball down the field.
He almost kicked it out of bounds. Stamps down by 3. They're 1-5 on the road this year. And Garcia steps up and lunges forward to the 43-yard line. Close to 9, Calvin Tiggle the tackle.
Good coverage downfield. He can't find anything. Decides at this point in the game, if the receivers aren't open, he's taking a quick glance. Any opening, he's going to run with it.
Defensive mission here, keep Calgary out of the end zone. Hold them to a 3-point opportunity.
Second down, Anderson, and he'll have the first. Willie Whitehead had a hand on him. You know, the irony here is Wally Buono yesterday talking about his team said, we're not a team like the early 90s that we can play well for a quarter and put a team away. We've got to play 60 minutes. This may be one of those games where the old Stampeder teams didn't show up but could turn it on when they had to. Garcia with time, looking deep, Travis Moore. No, he dropped the football. Travis Moore dropped a winning touchdown score.
Well, this time Jeff does the right thing. He's got a man up the seam. He throws the ball outside to where only his guy can get it, and the guy they run by is Sam Rogers, and Rogers is in for the injured Frank West, and Frank West was back there for the injured Kenny Wilhite. So we're seeing the third guy at halfback, and you see Travis Moore ran right by him.
Well, we talked about his coverage ability, and they were in question on that play.
2nd and 10. 69 seconds to play. Regulation time. Garcia now going over the top again for Pitts, and he brings it down. Alan Pitts at the 6-yard line with 2 defenders around him. Well, what a target he is at 6'4", 210.
And this is where height helps you most definitely. He starts inside, comes back to the outside, adjusts. He's got coverage by Vaughn, and Hitchcock is coming. The ball kind of floats in the air. I actually thought it might have been picked off. He just does an excellent job of going up and getting the ball.
But that's an all-Canadian play right there. His quarterback's in trouble. Who does he look for? Number 18, the 4th all-time leading receiver in this league, and he climbs the ladder, makes a super play.
1st and goal from the 6. Take to Anderson. Garcia cut off. Flag is down in the end zone. Incomplete, and another flag down. I think Garcia took a late hit.
Costly penalty by Hamilton. The emotions are running high. Calgary's driving the ball down here.
Pitt's unable to bring that in at the back line. Already with 124 yards on the game. That's just the second 100-yard game for the Stampeders receivers this season. And a real conference here. There was a flag down before the throw, and then a flag down after Garcia delivered the football. And from the argument, it sounds like both might be going against the Tiger Cats.
Illegal contact on an eligible receiver, Hamilton number 2. Major foul, roughing the quarterback, Hamilton number 99. First down.
Eric Carter and Michael Philbrick. And the ball down just inside the 2.
Well, Mike Philbrick has had a great year this year. He was all East last year, all Eastern Division last year, but he and Campbell are the two guys on this defense that play right on the edge of legality. Every now and then they'll get a late hit. This was a bad time to get one.
Boy, Carter is revved up. Give Anderson flag down, pull down. Hamilton doesn't get on it. Garcia gets it back.
Well, if Calgary gets this ball back, I'll be very surprised that Hamilton didn't just jump on the ball instead of trying to pick it up and run with it.
Ticats were offside anyway.
Well, the ball shot out. It looked like Lamar McGriggs had a shot out. You see Calvin Tiggle, nice shot right at the point of attack.
Hamilton number 2. First down.
Carter was within that 1-yard restraining zone, still fired up from the call on the previous play.
Was Tiggles hit? Now the ball comes out, and here comes Lamar McGrigg. Lamar, you got to get on that football. Now, it would have been waved off because of the offside penalty on Carter, but at that point, don't need a touchdown. Just need to secure the ball. Only 30 seconds left in the game. So.
Carter's still arguing over with the head linesman, Bill Harcourt, and some of his teammates are going to go over and try and get him out of there.
Well, you definitely don't want to take another penalty for unsportsmanlike and give Calgary 3 more cracks at the 1 here.
30 seconds to go. And the ball now at the 1, first and goal.
So our defense has played so strong all game to come down to the critical point of the game and have the penalties go against you like they have. It's very frustrating.
It's been an unusual afternoon, but certainly not short on the entertainment scale. Well, Iguana just trying to escape with win number 100. Garcia, touchdown. Jeff Garcia, with 28 seconds to go, goes over the top for the score.
Well, Jeff Garcia scores his 6th touchdown rushing of the year. And you can see that Hamilton, the players on the field, are very upset right now. They've played so well all game. They actually thought they were so close to tasting victory.
So it's 24-21 with the convert to come, which will make it a 4-point game. And the Ticats will need a touchdown in the final 28 seconds. McLaughlin puts it through. And the Calgary Stampeders now 25-21. It's been a tough afternoon for Jeff Garcia, but he may prevail.
It's not over yet. They've got an opportunity to make a couple completions, get themselves in an opportunity for Calvi to throw one up to get the touch, but certainly it's a bad situation to be in if you're a Hamilton Ticat. But I point to 2 plays in the previous drive that allowed Garcia to get the ball in the end zone. The terrible kickoff by Osbaldiston that bounced around the 35-yard line, which allowed Marvin Coleman to get up the field, and then the throw by Garcia and the great catch by Alan Pitts down at the 5 allowed Garcia to keep over the top here with the great surge of the offensive line and get the touchdown. So those 2 plays, in my mind, decided the factor here today.
Well, the only chance Hamilton has right now, they have to get some sort of a return. They can't start deep in their own end. They have to get some sort of a return there.
Remember Coleman's kickoff, he took it right back into Hamilton territory, and That's the kind of start Calvillo will need if they can bounce back. Big kickoff.
Well, you see where
Rogers mishandles it.
You see where McLaughlin put the ball.
Well, this is not what they had in mind.
We said the thing that can't happen is for them to start deep, and for them to start on the 7-yard line. It's unbelievable, and David does come back to echo what you said. McLaughlin kicks it almost to the end zone. Ozzie, a 20-yarder.
That would have been there.
Why does Rogers run the ball out there?
You give your.
Why does he not down the foot?
You're up by 4. 5 would be.
That's ridiculous. It doesn't matter whether you're up 5 or 4. Yeah. They still need a touchdown, and now you put your team down with absolutely no chance down on your own 7-yard line. If he downs the ball, it comes out to the 35. They have a chance to operate. That's ridiculous.
And you kill the clock.
Hail Mary time now. Or maybe the Lombardo.
Well, that's why Sam Rogers wasn't on this team to begin with.
And down goes Anthony Calvillo.
Making decisions. He got beat. It should have been a touchdown pass to Travis Moore in the last drive. It was dropped, and then here he makes a poor decision on the return.
There's Jermaine Miles with the sack.
Well, he said he was going to get a sack, and he definitely did. He waited till the end of the game, crucial time. That's a nice job.
18 seconds left. I don't know if Wally Buono has had a win in the 100 quite like this one, but he'll take it.
What a monster win it is, because let's think about what it does really out in the West. As Alan Pitts has stepped up again, the guy that's been here for only 6 games, but has really broadened this team. They said he's really helped all the young receivers, and he's made the super catches today too.
Take a shot. Now he'll go underneath the Griggs and he'll drop it. And it's 3rd down.
It just
7 seconds to go.
It just feels like the air has gone out of them.
Yep.
I mean, you look at them right now, they're dejected. They're not. They were at such a level, and they've just come down. They went from the penthouse to the outhouse so fast on that elevator of life. Unbelievable.
Well, here's the other play. I talked about the bad kick. Here was the offensive play. Look at Alan Pitts. Probably was interfered with by Gerald Vaughn, but how did you know that number 18 was going to make the play in the game to allow Calgary to get out here with a victory? And this is when they're going to be breathing a big sigh of relief when they get on the plane to go back to Calgary.
After 0-3, they will be tied for 2nd with BC. Little quick kick. Well, in Hall of Fame game, we're going to have a blast from the past, but Alondra Johnson will cover it. And that should do it. Wally Buono has hit the century mark in wins as he celebrates with Danny Barrett. The Stampeders, after an 0-3 start, are tied for 2nd in the West at 7-6 and just 2 points out of 1st place. Still a game to go with the Edmonton Eskimos, and Wally and company will meet Urban Bowman and the Ticats on Thanksgiving Monday.
Well, Urban has to be proud of the way he prepared his team. His team was ready, and they came in and played extremely well. They actually had a chance to win the game. I think a couple of bad plays here late in the ball game cost them. But for Wally Buono, I liken his team to a beast laying in the weeds that nobody really has been watching. Everybody's been talking about BC, and everybody's been talking about Edmonton and Toronto and Montreal, but nobody's really discussing Wally's team, and I think he likes where they're laying right now.
And look at this guy. Here's a lonely cat, and I guarantee you, if you look, people out at TV land can't see. They're moving Paul Osbaldiston's locker out in the parking lot right now. I don't think he's going to be changing with the rest of the team. He's having a rough go, and we always wondered what would happen when it comes down to a close game. His 4 or 5 missed field goals are the big plays for me as far as I'm concerned, because they were chip shots.
Yeah, he missed 5. 4 are ones that Paul Osbaldiston has made consistently in his career. Well, the quarterbacks will confirm. Calvillo had some positive things happen today. Jeff Garcia, for the most part, had a rough one, but it's the white and red celebrating a victory here in Hamilton.